Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Happy to have you here. It is quite a kind of gloomy and rainy day for me, but I am in the rainy season. Hopefully, you had yourselves a really beautiful Sunday. I know that I have been, other than running around doing the stuff I have to do, of course, I've been trying to pay attention to the various, summer game release fest show things that have cropped up this year to try to replace E3. There are a lot of them, and they're all, you know, they seem to have all their own kind of little thing they're doing, but a lot of videos are getting replayed over and over again, of course, with the big stuff. But man, that's all right. But the one thing I have noticed about this year that's a little bit different is last year, pretty much everything was exactly your ECG working for you. Yeah, it was kind of perfectly that way. This year, it's slightly less. I don't know what that means, especially seeing as it takes years to develop a game. One thing I have noticed a lot of, though, is those games that are just super cheap and easy to make, kind of, because they're retro, they're cool, with low polygon, ugly things, because what they're trying to do is get you to spend your money on those little cheap little things so that they can get enough money in their little war chest so they can make the game they really want to make. I love how the fact that here we are in 2023 and we're still getting these retro polygon pixel games. But hey, maybe you like it. Me, I was when I was a kid, I was always hoping that they would get better and better and better. And here I am when they got some really amazing stuff, and mostly what I get is stuff that's trying to be like when I was, I don't know, in my 20s, right? Or even older. But nevertheless, I didn't see much so far this year that I thought was interesting. I haven't watched all of them. Maybe you guys have. Please let me know what you've seen and what you think is cool. I am going to go over here and hit the like and share button. Hopefully, you guys will do the same and let everybody know we're on today. We are going to be talking about double standards here, triple standards, quadruple standards. You know what? We've all seen those before, of course. But it continues, and we are starting to get a heat up on some various things we're going to talk about a little bit today. I did want to, whilst I wait for Thundera, because he is on incoming, let me just do this real quick. All right, there we are. Perfect. All right. Good, 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 good. Let me pop out this chat so I can see what everyone's saying. Hello, Roger. Hello, Dave. Nice to see you guys. One thing I did this weekend that, of course, I have to do every so many years, depending. I had to go get my license, my driver's license updated, and I'm kind of curious what you guys, what your experience, because when I was in the states, I got my license pretty early, as most of us do. Around the world, a lot of times the age for a driver's license is like 18, but where I grew up, it was like what 15 or something like that. But so I've been driving a long time. I think I had a little motorcycle when I was a little kid, go kart, of course, and then a vehicle. But I moved so much as when I lived in America back and forth. I don't think I actually ever had to renew my license. I was always just transferring my license, which was a pretty simple little process. You just walk in and you pay some money and you walk out, with a new license. But I've been living here, consistently for a very long time. So I've had to, renew my license several times here. And the way I'm just kind of curious if I think it's different the way they do it over there, but the way they do it over here is if during the 2 or 3 year period that you have your blue license, because they have two different kind of licenses here, during that period, if you don't get pulled over by the tax man masquerading as a police officer and get yourself a traffic ticket, then you get a gold license. And you don't have to renew that for 5 years, hey Thundero. So it's just, did you dodge the tax man or not, really? But even if like this time, of course I got a gold license. So I'm going in to renew it, and it'll be renewed for 5 years. But even though, if you have a blue license, meaning you got a ticket, you got to sit through a 2-hour lecture,
Yeah.
right? But if you have a gold license, meaning you've been a good boy, you still have to sit through a 30-minute lecture. Now, here's the thing. I've done this several times, Thundero. And
Okay.
every time I do, it goes in this big, beautiful building. They tried to make look like an airport, even though it's a DMV. And it's the temperature's nice, it's comfortable, but when you get in that damn room, it's sweaty hot every time.
Mm,
Every time, even for the 30-minute one. And I've come to a conclusion, Thundero. They're
uh-oh.
punishing us.
Probably.
How dare we think about driving a car, we bastards.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, government people, man, they annoy the shit out of me. Anyway, that was
They
my weekend.
are they are the best, aren't they? They're just swell.
They are, especially here in Japan, where it's not in the book. But other than that, I went and I got myself. It's been a few years, so I went and got myself new glasses, and sunglasses. And you know what I did? I got exactly the same glasses I had before, just new ones.
Hmm.
I've
Oh
gotten
boy.
old, Thundero. But the way I
Sounds
look at
like
it,
it.
yeah, but the way I look at it is, I went through all the time looking for exactly the pair I wanted last time. Well, why should I do that again? I already went through that. I've made the choice. So,
It's done.
it's
It's
done.
decided.
It's decided. Yeah, it is.
Uh,
You know what I
I
haven't
like it.
done in years and I should do is I usually I know this is cliche, but I usually wear Ray-Bans.
Yep.
And I have very light blue eyes, right? Super light. And the lighter your eyes, the more the sun hates you. You know,
That's right.
so sunglasses are more mandatory than they are fashion. But just as a side note, I actually had someone ask me, "What does Ray Ban mean?" I was a bit shocked. I was like, "Well, Ray Ban, ban the
I
rays of the sun."
think it's
Ray Ban.
pretty on the nose. I
I
don't think
thought
they were.
so, yeah. But they said, "I
Yeah.
thought it was named after some dude named Ray." I was like, "Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah."
Sometimes, especially, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're correct.
You nailed
But
it right on the head.
you're right on the head. But I don't know why. I've always liked Ray-Bans, but for quite a while, the Ray-Bans fashion style look is kind of like it hasn't been 15 minutes, has it? No. Uh, not my ticket. How about that? I
Yeah.
I haven't checked them in a while, so I should go check it again. But anyway, we ocularly impaired tend to spend money on such objects. Are you
I,
ocularly
as I've
impaired?
gotten, well, I am. I'm colorblind, but that doesn't affect the sun at all.
It's not
However,
official. Yeah,
um, as I've gotten older, yeah, I need sunglasses. It's just my eyes just do not like the glare anymore. And I have always
yeah.
had trouble, and it's getting worse also as I get older. When it's really rainy out
Oh,
and
it's the
nighttime,
worst. Oh God, it's
I
the
can't
worst.
see anything. Yeah. So like even if the rain stops for a bit and the road's still all nice and wet and shiny, it it's nightmare. I cannot see. I can't make
Uh,
things out. Like it's just so much reflection and so much light.
I
My
see.
eyes just
Well,
yeah, they have a conniption.
you can get special lenses for that. I don't have nighttime
Yep.
problems at all. But actually, on the overcast days are the most painful days for my
Yeah.
eyes because the light's being bounced around, right? So it's more of the literal rays that are causing pain to my eye. But for we light-eyed people, you don't have to have colored eyes, just light eyes. It's a problem. And I live in a country where no one, hardly anyone wears sunglasses. And of course, the reason is because they are specifically made for the sun, right?
Yep.
Not only do they have dark eyes, they have these almond thin shaped eyes that reflect the light back. So these guys are like, they can stare into the sun for minutes. They're, superheroes. I can't. Well, I mean, if I get out in a real sunny midday, I literally need someone to guide me by my hand because I'm like a freaking blind person.
You're blinded by the
Yeah.
light.
Even with the glasses and a rim hat on to keep the sun out. No, it's all white, just pure white.
Chester, we are not a sunny people.
No, we living.
No.
We're cavemen. We are
Yeah.
cavemen. Yeah, that is true.
Basically, we should probably just live like Tolkien dwarves and just
Mhm.
burrow under the
Mm.
ground and be
Mhm.
happy with it.
Mhm. No, I agree with that
Listen, there's a lot of
100%.
space down there.
There
We
is.
can move out. There's all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff we can do.
Humans have done it before.
It's true.
We've been finding underground built structures pretty impressive. Some of them pretty impressive for quite a while now. There was a period where humans were living underground, not necessarily exclusively, but it probably had to do with the Younger Dryas events because we know that we got hit by thousands and thousands of meteorites hitting, and a couple of big asteroids hit us too. And
Oh
humans,
yeah.
probably went on for a year after year for a while, and they
Mhm.
were probably just hiding underground and coming up and doing the farming, for safety, staying underground. Particularly during times a year we go through that near asteroid belt that we go through. That hit,
Mm,
these days mainly we just see shooting stars, but back in those days I think we were getting pelted. But
right.
yeah, so we have experience with it. Is my point. It's been there, done that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we're pretty much universal. We can. There's not too many places on this planet we can't find a way to survive.
That's true. That's true. Sunglasses do help. We are
Yeah.
shiny vampires. You are right, Roger. Uh, that could be true, Dave, but they do have special coatings these days to deal with glare, particularly. Like because I do have, like I said, my eyes are super light. And I have a problem with it. But they even have glasses today that work when I'm on the water. Right? Because that's
Mm,
always been a problem. I mean, to the point that when I was sailing when I was younger, I would make a point of not looking at the water when I'm healing. I was making a water looking at the horizon and the boat line when I'm healing, because I literally can get a water glare burn on my eye. Literally,
right.
It's like snow blindness, right? It's a real thing, right? But they have glasses these days. Oh, I can look at the water line all I like, no problem now.
It,
Yep, yep, yep.
it's very nice.
So yes, I did
It's very
officially
nice.
confirm that I have special boat yacht goggles. Shut up. They're so mean. You can hear them, can't you?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are.
They're picking on you for your blindness.
They are. Yeah.
It's
But
fine. I get literally all the time, and I'm in Chester
mhm.
all the time. If somebody finds out I'm colorblind, because I'm actually colorblind,
Yeah.
the first immediately I have to tell them what color everything is around me every time, without
Mhm.
fail. It's very annoying.
I'll
Very annoying.
say it's blue. Does that help?
There's some blue. I see
I imagine.
a blue hamper. I see a blue box with my boots in it. There's some blue.
Okay.
No, it's
Well,
weird because so like my eyes, they don't see color very well. Yeah, hence color blindness. I can see color, but I just can't discern it very well. So if
right.
you put a brown, a deep brown, and a red next to each other, I'm
Mhm.
gone. Or a light
Oh,
brown and a green, I'm gone. No idea. Can't tell
I
you.
see.
Couldn't tell you anything. Sometimes blue in like weird shades of pink will it just nope, or blue and purple, nope.
Well,
Uh,
you know,
red I can usually always see though, which is interesting. I can usually always tell red.
Well, that is a kind of a different spectrum, isn't it? But
Yeah,
no, it's surprising me how many colorblind people I've met on this channel over the
yeah.
years. It seems like a lot of artists have that trouble. Maybe they're facing their fears and overcoming it or something. I don't know. But I've met
Mm,
him out like Brad Ashworth. He's phenomenal artist, right? I mean, Brad is
yeah,
amazing. Just he always does grayscale because he's completely colorblind, right? Um,
yeah.
although they do
Monotone.
have special glasses now, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it, and I'll tell you why I don't
You
know if
should
I buy it
try
because
it though.
everybody I've seen use them was clearly full of shit. I've been
Yeah.
colorblind my whole life. If suddenly I could see more colors, I wouldn't cry. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well,
Oh, more color. Cool. I mean, I'd be excited, like, yeah, that's cool, but I wouldn't start crying like some of these people doing these
yeah,
videos.
no,
I'm like, get
fair.
out of here.
It was
Get out of
touching
here.
though. It was touching. My my
Yeah.
best well, my best one was the little girl, the young she was well, I think she was an adult, but very young adult. She'd never heard a sound in her life, and they put that implant in her head, and they slowly turned it up, and she started hearing, and she was crying. I got that. That hit me. I was like, "Aw."
Yeah. Well, that'd be a little different because you haven't heard anything.
Mhm.
Most colorblind people, the vast majority of us can see color. Our eyes get confused.
Oh,
It mixes colors up. So there are people, a super minority of people, which colorblind people already are, um, that only actually do see black and white. They can't see color at all. They're completely monochrome, but
mhm.
they're extraordinarily rare. Most of them just have differing ends of the light spectrum. Their eyes just don't work with. So mine is like the blue greens, and other people have the red and the other side. Um,
Yeah.
and that's usually just how it is. For whatever reason, our eye, and it runs in my family. I have a cousin who's the same way. Our eyes just don't see the blue and the green. That doesn't discern them well enough. If they're alone, I don't have any problem typically, unless it's a really weird shade, like people do things like with aquamarine or whatever like that. That kind of
Uh,
stuff will throw me off. But yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, so those little pictures that are you have to stare at and focus in just the right way, and
oh
there's
yeah,
another image, you can't do that, huh?
nothing. I got
Uh,
nothing. But what number is that? I'll be like, dots. It's a lot of dots. There's no
yeah.
number in there.
I
Can't
see
see it at
those
all.
things super quickly though.
Yeah, can't
So
see it.
yeah, I guess I have no problem whatsoever. But
Yep.
it does bring up a curious question though, and for you in the chat, what is it that gets the waterworks going for you? I mean, I know me personally, I can literally walk through a like a car crash with mangled bodies everywhere, or other
Yep.
situations in my life where I've
Doesn't
seen
bother me.
ridiculous tragedy. It doesn't bother me for a second, right? But yet, if I hear beautiful music, and I mean good music. I don't mean that it just random crap, but really good
Yep.
music. Oh, dude, I can't. It just, like Chris Stapleton, I hate that fucker. That dude, he gets me every time. It's like, oh, you bastard. Like, did you
um,
see his national anthem? Oh, Jesus.
I did not, but I'd probably enjoy it. I usually prefer when men sing the national anthem.
Oh, Whitney killed
Um,
it though. I'll give Whitney
well, yeah, but I
full
mean, come on.
props.
She's
Um,
like the one of the best ever. Of course,
It's
she
true.
killed it.
She did kill it, but
Um,
Chris owns it for me now. I mean, but that guy, but I can't. I don't know what it is about music, but music hits me and it just gets the waterworks going, dude. I have no control over it
there
whatsoever.
was a guy who used to do. I want to say it was for the Blackhawks, but I could be wrong. The hockey team. He used to do their national anthem, and he had this deep, not bass, but almost bass that he would sing in,
Like a
and
baritone.
it
Yeah.
was, oh my god, it sounded like that is exactly what that song was written for. I don't know if that's was intended by the man when he wrote it, but that is definitely how that song should be sung. It was perfect,
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect
No,
when I
we're
heard him.
lucky. We do have a really good national anthem. We really do. The only other one, there's a few interesting ones. I think the Kimi Gayo, the Japanese national anthem, is very
Mhm.
pretty. It is a pretty song. I've played it on
It's pretty.
saxophone several times, and it is one of those things you can really suck all that beauty out of it, right?
Yeah.
But the only one I think is really close to us now, and it's I don't know, I wouldn't use the word ironic, but is the new Russian Federation song.
Oh, I
They got
love
a
it.
they got a
I
good one.
literally have it on my workout playlist.
Yeah,
That's so good.
it's a good
It's
song.
so good.
Yeah.
And it's just like as you know, functionally, it's well made,
Oh yeah.
just as is. I love the Russian Federation song. I think it's better than ours, to be honest with you. But it's so good. It's weird because I'll be walking or whatever, and I'll have it blaring, and I'll get looks.
Well, the big difference
Oh,
I think is orchestra instrumentally. I would agree with you with the Russian Federation one might be better, but
yeah,
when you have someone of incredible quality singing the national anthem, I mean, damn, dude, it's
it's
special.
good. That's
But
good.
they're both really good. It's interesting though that the Russians, all right, fine, we'll get rid of this stupid communism stuff, but we're taking that.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that. That
Fine.
was written by some comrade who knew what he was doing. We're
Damn
keeping
right.
that.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me, because it's very few things will make me tear up or get bleary eyed. But the thing that almost always will get me is an old person having a moment of actual bliss,
Mm,
like a grandfather
yeah,
or a
yeah.
grandmother,
It is cool.
and just something has happened. It doesn't matter what it is, and you can just see it.
Yep.
Because I have a great respect. I try to anyway for older people, for the elderly especially, because listen, they beat time. They're old.
Yeah,
They
no,
did it.
they earned a bit of respect, don't they? Yeah.
They
Yeah.
earned it.
Yeah.
Unless they're a total piece of shit as a human being, which some of them are, they
Sure.
most likely aren't, and they earned it. And especially if they were a good grandfather or a good father or just a good man, and like you'll see these World War II vets, they get their still to this day they're still digging them up and they're way into their hundreds, and they're getting commendations and stuff, and they'll tear up and things, and it's just like, oh man, come
Yeah, no.
on,
That's true.
it get
Yeah.
me every time.
It is true. Speaking of that though, because getting to a certain age, you just automatically get respect for surviving, really. But
Yes.
well, you do, and that's fine. But I have a feeling we're going to run into a real big problem coming up here because I think we're going to get a generation or even two
Mm,
of older people, and we're going to have a lot of single old people, a lot.
yeah.
And the certain we know that you can get in suicide rates with men and things like that, but it seems the data seems to say, because I don't really know, but the data seems to say that men deal with the loneliness better than women do.
Mm,
I have no clue. I have no clue because I've always had a woman next to me since I was young. I don't
right.
know, right? But they say so. I'm kind of curious how this is all going to work out because the you got a whole bunch of girls piling into their 30s, early 40s. They ain't going to get married, dude. The men
Well,
aren't, it
and
ain't going to happen.
here's the crazy thing is then the other way we have, in the populations of the world that matter, we have what I call the white death, which is a populational, or not populational, but a demographic bomb that's about to
Collapse.
explode.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just
no.
collapse because people like me just didn't have kids for various
Yeah,
reasons,
no,
and
that's
that
what
is
I'm
a
talking about.
serious
Yeah.
problem.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's all over Japan, it's all over Asia, it's
well,
all
it's
over America,
worldwide
it's all over
actually.
the
It's
West.
even in
Yeah.
Africa and
The
China.
only
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. The only places that seem to have dodged it are certain parts of Africa, but by and large, it's everywhere, and that's not good.
Yeah.
There's not enough people now, like younger people, to replace all of the older
No.
generations once they're all gone.
But,
That's a problem.
the population of the planet is large enough that in the long run, as the pendulum swings, it'll be fine. The problem
Yeah,
has more to do with the structure of our societies, and meaning our capitalistic democracies.
yeah.
They're kind of dependent upon a younger generation paying taxes,
Workers,
right? Workers,
worker
yeah.
bees.
And this is why you see a lot of these Democrats and liberals around the world. They're trying to bring immigration in because they think that's going to be a solution. Of course, they didn't bother to
Yes,
look at the data. It says that they don't actually become viable for about 3.5 generations. Whew,
yes.
that's
That's a
yeah, that's a long
long
time.
time.
Yeah.
Well, the other problem we have is we have all these elderly people and not enough people to take care of them, and not enough people to generate the revenue needed
Mm,
to take care of them. What are we going to do with them? And I'm going to
mm.
be one of them. You're probably going to miss it just barely. I'm not. I'm right at the age where I'm going to be right in the middle of it if I live to be that old.
Yeah, but I've
W-
also provided for myself.
Exactly.
I did never have I had in my head that, oh well, 60's coming up and I get that free money. I've never thought that.
Right.
I've never thought that. I've always, and you know why? You know why? It's the white man privilege.
Oh.
No, it is because you hear all these things about privilege. Of course, we know the most privileged people on earth are women, but shh, don't say anything. But white men do have a privilege in America, and I'd say Europe probably as well, because we know especially white heterosexual males. We know there's no group for us, there's no organization, there's no department, there's no activist group, there's nothing, nobody out there going to do shit for you, not a damn thing. We know this coming out of the gate. Therefore, if you
Hmm.
want something, you got to do it yourself. And in a strange way, that is a type of privilege. That awareness that, yeah, the only person that's going to ever give a shit about you is you, right? And
Yep.
and white heterosexual men have that burden. And therefore, when we go out into the world, we either just fail and collapse or we get it done, right? So I know that, and therefore I've never set myself to rely on anybody else, right? And I'm not alone. So, but it is a strange how that turns out to be an actual privilege, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe other
It
people could
does.
use that privilege. Maybe it would be
It's
useful.
um it's something that's built into us as a species.
Yeah.
It's the same mechanic of, fight or flight. Um, you either do it or you don't. You have an option. You can
Yeah.
either survive or you can die. That's it.
Right.
That's
Well,
it.
and everybody else has been given options, right?
Yes.
But specifically that one little group, the one that they make a lot of noise about, we have zero options, right? There's no options for you. There's no white heterosexual man a phone call you can make. There's no organization or department in the government. There isn't any. There isn't any. So you got to get it done yourself. Keep that in your mind, young people, and just
Yep.
go get it. You know.
Yep.
And like I said, I think it's actually a good thing. But nevertheless, we are going to be coming into some generations here that are going to have some serious problems, though, dude. And I don't know how, because you compound it with the point we were just talking about with population decline or collapse, actually, as Elon Musk says. But
Mhm.
it's a real serious issue, and you compound that with the fact that, and of course, part of the causality of it is that you have got to have a lot of older single people. I don't know. I think you're going to have a very angry, especially with the ladies. But you never know. It could be the men could be worse. We'll have to see, right? But you're going to have some very angry old people very soon, and it's kind of looks like we're already starting to get it.
Yep. Good.
Is it?
Good. We need a little bit more anger in the world, I think.
Oh, do we? Oh
Uh,
God,
yeah, yeah, that's what
no.
we need. We need
Yeah,
more angry
more.
people. More angry, irrational, unreasonable people. That's just what the world needs.
Well, John Campea got mad.
All I know
He had him a rant.
is I like watching the chaos. So
Yeah,
whatever
well,
is the
it's a
most
certain
hilarious outcome,
chaos watching.
that's the one I'm rooting for.
Yeah,
Because at this point, listen, Chester, there's only two options from going all the way back 3 years ago to 2020. Either the American people are stupid enough to vote against the best economy in the history of the country by far, or it was stolen and they didn't really do anything to stop it. There's no good win here. It doesn't matter if it was a legitimate election or not at all because the American people let it happen regardless or they chose it. So all the problems that America's going through, all this inflation, all this nonsense, everybody's dealing with $4 a gallon gas again, all that stuff. Hey, America, you chose that. You reaped
true,
what you sowed,
true.
and you sowed a whole lot of stupid. That's what you did. You don't
Mhm.
have to like Trump. I don't even really like Trump that much, but the proof is in the pudding.
Oh yeah.
Gas was a
Well,
dollar and 27 cents when he was
yeah,
president. I remember it. $1.27. That is cheaper than it's ever been in my lifetime if you adjust for inflation.
yeah. No, he did. But Trump is not necessarily a solution. What he is a symptom, right?
Yep.
And it's a very telling one, and people should be paying more attention. But I had, that thing that thing has become a meme where the little girl, I think in Monsters Inc., she says "kitty," right, to Mike Wachowski, or she's maybe it was Scully, was that his name? You
I
ever,
think
never?
so.
Yeah, I can't remember. Any or Sully. I can't remember
Yeah,
which one.
Sully.
But anyway, you know the little kitty meme, right? Well,
Yep.
I have that effect because I kind of look like Santa Claus. Yeah. And I literally have little kids come up to me and say, Santa, it's like the kitty thing, right? And I was sitting there
Right.
waiting for my glasses to get ready. I'm just kind of sitting there, and it's a very busy place because they're cheap. You like with everything, you can either go quality long term or you can go cheap and buy it often. And with my glasses, I kind of do that. But nevertheless, sitting there's a whole bunch of kids, of course, with their parents, and they kind of gravitate toward me because Santa, right? And I'm sitting there chatting with these kids, and I look like Santa, and I don't look creepy at all. So the parents don't sweat it, right? I'm just
Mm.
sitting there chatting with them because they're over here in front of me, and I taught them all how to make fart sounds with the underarm trick. Yeah, it was great. I had literally a cavalcade of 5 or 6 kids sitting there trying to make farts under their arm. It was great. I'm sure their parents were very appreciative of me that day.
I love it.
Mm, yeah, no. And occasionally, every now and then, you get some, kids are kids, and they're normal. Every now and then, you get some kid that's like this golden aura cute level, like the mega level cute.
Right.
That's stops traffic, that kind of cute. And it's always interesting to me because I'm a teacher, so I see them grow up. And occasionally get one of those, and I always kind of place bets in my head. It's like, all right, is that gonna last? Yeah, yeah, because I've seen a few that do. They grow up to be beautiful girls or boys, but a lot of times it goes the other way, right? I remember
It
this
does.
girl when she came in. She was like, I don't like going lower than 5 years old, right? Their brain just isn't open yet. But I think she was 5, but she came with her older sister. So that's how I tend up with the younger ones, is because they come with their brother or sister. And when she came in, I mean, it's just this literal golden glow, cute level kid, just absolutely ridiculous, right? And
Right.
she was with me, and she's an adult now, so she was with me for 15 years, right? And she's a nice kid. I like her. I'm not going to say her name or anything bad about her, but boy, she did not stay that way, dude. Really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, real shame. But it is always interesting
No,
to me because I have a long term view of it, right? Because I'm older. But I went because I saw one of those kids the other day at the eye places. This one little girl just had that golden, ultra cute glow about her.
mhm.
And I was just, it always makes in my head wondering, like, I wonder if that's going to work out for you, little one. You know, well, more the power to them, right? Because one thing about beauty is, I mean, if you can keep it, get actual beauty, cute to beauty, right? If you can get that, no, whether you're male or female, there's power in that, dude. I mean,
Right.
attractive people have easier lives. That is a fact.
Yeah.
So
Sadly, but it is the truth.
that is humans. It's just human nature. It is what it is, dude. But it was fun though. I love. They was just. I wish I had a because I don't have a phone. I wish I had a video of it though, because it'd be hilarious, dude. Because literally
Mm.
it's like 5 or 6 of these little kids sitting there trying. The thing where you put your hand under your arm and you try to make a fart sound.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a whole bunch of them sitting in the because I'm just sitting down waiting, right? Sitting there trying to do it unsuccessfully, of course. But it's just hilarious to me, dude. I was having a great old time waiting for my glasses.
Oh no.
Yeah. Shit. But I am the type that goes up to the kid. Okay, I go up to a group of kids and I was like, the first one that says shit gets $1. Go. I'm that guy.
Oh, parents just love you.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I like kids actually. I enjoy it, which is kind of handy, you know, because some people
Does
can't
help.
stand kids. I don't get that. I love the sound of children, playing and making those. Even though we hear occasional cry, I just like this the burble. of kids. It's a great sound. I also like the burble of women, gaggling.
Mm.
I just like the sound of it. But yeah, kids are great. Do you have a fondness for children?
I do. My wife doesn't. She's one of those people. She does not like kids much.
Some people don't, dude. It is what it is. But luckily, because my job insists upon it, but luckily I do like kids. That's pretty handy. And
That's
my
good.
wife does too, so it works out really well. But kids are great, man. Because the thing that's great about kids is, you know, they they haven't learned things like mercy or
Right.
grace or fear. They haven't learned these things yet. Therefore,
Mhm.
they're kind of an open book, and they do and say the weirdest and wildest things, right?
Oh yeah.
And on a side to this though, how strange is it in this day and age? You don't see. We used to have TV shows when I was young talking about the kids say the darndest thing. I think it was Bill Cosby or something like that. And we had all kind of shows like Jeff Foxworthy had "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader" or something like that.
Mhm.
And we used to kind of celebrate this wonderful ignorance of children and just children in general, how lovely and great kids are. But it's gone away. I mean, and it's a really sad thing. Like I noticed that you had a bunch of kids in some official Capitol building in Washington D.C. and they're just a bunch of little kids. They can't sing worth shit, but they're doing they're a little choir, and they're going to sing the national anthem. That's great, man. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
But of course, what do the stupid guards at that place do? You can't sing here. This could be seen as some kind of negative thing. It's like, excuse me, the national anthem is somehow a negative in America.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
where
if
we're
you're
at
in
now.
China, I get it. But that's where we're
Yeah.
at, dude. You can't celebrate kids at all, and then you get all this creep vibe that's coming in from so many corners, right? And if you get people talking like I just did about kids, they looking at you sideways because everyone's suspicious, and it's like, what? Why can't we celebrate children anymore and the wonderful ignorance that they have, right?
Mhm.
Whatever.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? I will be right back real quick.
Yeah. But that really irritated me though, because these are just I don't know where they were. I think they were in the rotunda, to be honest with you. But it's just a little kiddie choir with their look like a pastor or something like that, and they're just going to sing them. They're singing the national anthem, and and this guard comes up, all irritated. You can see him in the back of the videotape. He's just mad. How dare you sing the national anthem? And coming up and telling him you got to stop. And of course, the guy was a really good, nice man, and he shut the kids down. And of course, on the other side, you've had many conservative news programs, and I think even Donald Trump invited them. So they've been heard. But I mean, what kind of nonsense is that, Grimlock? A bunch of little kids is somehow controversial singing the national anthem in the in the Capitol? Are we kidding? What are we doing?
A lot of retarded shit.
That's outrageous, though, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. Leave the kids alone. How you doing, Grimlock?
I am doing well.
That's good.
Yeah,
How was your weekend?
I got pretty peaceful, pretty quiet. It rained a good bit today, but
Oh yeah, no, it's been rainy.
nothing
It's a rainy
crazy.
season for me though. But the good thing about it is because you have all these weather fronts, you're getting some nice cool breezes. Because very shortly, when the rainy season stops, I'm going to be hit by humidity that will melt, a chocolate instantly. So, oh, did you see that
Yeah.
thing in the UK from the Sun News? Company, the Sun. They put out a video and they showed this is how hot it is in the UK. And they held an ice cream up and it took 20 minutes. Can you believe it? 20 minutes for it to melt. Wow, so hot.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no, could you hear the sarcasm? I know when I was a
Yeah.
kid running around in the summer, you better get on it because that thing's going to be on the ground in about 2 minutes.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just they're so dumb that they think that 20 minutes is actually fast for it. That's really good, dude. That's like a nice fall day that your ice cream will stay up for 20 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway,
Um,
I guess we're going to go ahead and get into it here. So let me go ahead and bring it
yeah.
up. One thing, as I do bring this up, though, I've been spending time trying to look at all the different games conventions and the video versions of them. Have you been paying attention
Yeah.
to that?
I didn't catch all of the Xbox ones
I haven't
today.
seen that yet either. I haven't.
I did see the one from Thursday. Um, there was some stuff in there I was genuinely interested in.
Not much for
Um,
me, dude. It's a bunch of this polygon retro crap, low polygon retro crap. I'm not interested. I did see one. It's called
mm,
the Gangs of Sherwood. That looked interesting, though.
yeah. Um, let's see what came out today that they showed today that looked good. Fable looked good.
Oh, Fable, it is coming. Okay, don't no
Oh yeah,
spoilers. I'm gonna watch it later.
I forgot that name. I think it was is it Path to the Goddess or Wrath of the Goddess by Capcom.
Hmm.
That's looking to be an Xbox exclusive. That looked cool. Um, the Hellblade sequel looked pretty good for those who are into Hellblade.
Right.
Um, I gotta go back and actually finish that because I started it and never finished it.
I
Um,
never played it. It did look good though, but I don't have time for everything here and there. I have to kind of be choosy about
yeah.
what I play. But I didn't see a lot.
Don't, I will say that it's one of those weird games. Like the first time you hear it and you hear all the voices in her head. Like the
Mhm.
first time, I'm like, where the fuck did that come
But
from?
see, that game's a little bit different though, because
Yeah,
there you have a female protagonist, but it's organically created. It's not some
yeah,
ECG requirement, right? It's just that's the character and that's the story they wanted to tell. These
yeah.
days, you get your ECG requirements all the time, right? Like for
Oh yeah,
instance, one of the ones that it's not as bad as last year. Last year it was just the shaved head, lesbian-looking character left and
yeah.
right, every single one of them, right? This year there was a little bit less of it, but I saw one this year that it irked me though because Alan Wake was a very popular game. You remember Alan
Yeah.
Wake? Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's coming
Yeah.
from a Finnish studio, right? And
Yep.
people have been wanting a part two of that for quite a while, and we finally got it. But of course, what's the first thing they introduce? You start the game. You don't start with Alan Wake. Matter of fact, you can play the whole game and never play Alan Wake. You get a new character. Would you like to guess what she looks like? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Guess. Oh, I said she.
Um.
Sorry, it's a female. Guess what she looks
Well,
like.
yeah. I didn't actually see what she looked like, but I do know that
Guess.
she's fat, ugly,
Well, I
shaved
don't know.
head.
Not fat, no. But would you like to get a little deeper?
Does this character look like Phoebe Waller Bridge?
A black version.
Mm.
Yeah. So of course it's a ECG requirement because it's a black girl. And I'm sure
You know,
during the dialogue they're going to insinuate she's gay. I guarantee it. And it's like
I
this is called Alan Wake, you jackasses. People have been waiting for this game for a long time, but yet you put in a secondary character. You're calling Saga. Now they're doing something a little twisty with it, whereas basically Alan is writing it, and she is the actual
yeah.
story he's writing. So okay, that's a little bit clever.
Narrator.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I mean, come on, dude. Come on.
It, it it's cool in concept. It's like one of those things where I hope for their sake that it works as well as they conceptualize it because it's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
But
but you understand that you can play the whole
yeah,
game and
but
never actually play Alan. You can do the whole
yeah,
game and
that
not
that part
actually ever play him.
I do not like.
It's called
I
Alan Wake. It's
yeah.
kind of like The Witcher, not having The Witcher in it. I mean, I've seen, I only saw season 1, but even in season 1 of The Witcher, I saw episodes where I didn't see Henry Cavill the entire episode.
Yeah.
We didn't even
Oh,
get
so
a
Roger.
cameo from the back of his head. He didn't
So
show
Roger
up
edited
the
it.
entire episode in The Witcher.
Yeah. Okay, so Roger got it right. It is Path of the Goddess. Okay.
Path of the Goddess, yeah. No, I'm sure there's going to be a few good ones, indie ones, but the thing is, dude, I would stay right away from the AAA because the problem they have is the same thing that Target and all these big companies have. They are beholden to the ECG gods because they need funding.
Yeah.
Because these games cost millions of dollars to make. Indie guys are making super cheap little crap polygon stuff that anybody can make. I understand what they're doing it for is because they want to make some money so they can make the game they really want. And it's like, so that's
Yeah.
our responsibility to pay for your dream. That I mean, ultimately, that's what we're being asked to do, right? Because we can't. The AAA stuff is such crap because they're all beholden to it. They have no choice, really. They have to do what the
Yeah.
ECG tells them to do, and therefore we get Alan Wake, where you have this black lady cop is the character you can play the entire game with and not even interact with Alan at all. I mean, it's stupid, dude. Why wasn't he? Why
That part
wasn't
is
he some
dumb.
Chinese dude? Why couldn't it have been some Indian lady? Why was it specifically a black female? Why?
I'm a representation, but here's the part. Because they've made it so obnoxious. They've made so many black women in these
Hmm.
positions so
Constantly,
obnoxious.
constantly, yeah.
They're like black Brie Larsons, and nobody wants a black version of Brie Larson.
No,
We don't,
God, no. Yeah,
because nobody wants Brie Larson.
yeah.
Okay, I
I got
mean,
a question for you because I don't ever see ethnics. I am the ethnic. Yeah.
mhm,
So, well, no, I am, right? So I never see it. I'm just surrounded by Japanese all the time. It's very rare that I see
yeah.
a non-Japanese. But living over there in the States, how insufferable have a certain demographic of the population become?
Very.
Depends on where you're at.
That
Does
too.
it?
Yeah, it really does.
So, Chester, just to answer your question, I'm not going to mention the racial characteristics of this person, but the wife and I were at a local Kroger's the other night, and we were buying something. I don't even remember what it was now. But this lady had decided, she had made this decision all by her grown self that she was going to argue with the cashier
Hmm.
because a sign was allegedly by somebody else put on a set of like plastic outside chairs and was supposed, and the sign said a big sale. Well, if you actually read the sign, it's talking about a kid's chair specifically, not a full grown person's chair. She sat there and argued and argued and argued. Manager came over, argued and argued, argued. Got the manager's name, got the corporate number, all this stuff. You know what she was effectively arguing over? $5. That was the difference.
Wow.
She spent probably a good 15 minutes of her time and everybody else's time, and then was saying she's going to go call corporate and complain to them over $5.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with over
Yeah.
here. Like, eventually, what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing eventually?
No.
Eventually, you're just
You're
wasting everybody's
empowering it.
time.
You're empowering it,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're letting these people have their way. And of course, the reality is, you do have two separate individual groups inside of this group you're talking about. You have people that are
Yep.
just Americans. Yeah, they're just
Yep.
Americans, right? And then we used to have another word for this back in the day, Grimlock. But you have the not Americans. Yeah. But no, I see it all the time. I'm not living it, but I see it all the time on the YouTube, and it's just like it's because they've been empowered, and they're just doing whatever they want. It's like when you're seeing these people walk in these blue states and just steal stuff. They just walk right out, and no one can do anything. And if you do try to stop them or you call the cops, you get fired. It's like what? What?
Yep.
What? It's out of control, dude. This is not a good thing. What's going on right now is going to bring a lot of trouble because, I have to be careful what I say, but Grimlock will agree with me 100%. Have you ever met a black woman?
Yes.
Yes, but Oh, we talk. Well, I was going to say the caveat of that wasn't crazy because
Yeah, no.
I
I'm
don't
not talking
believe
about
there's such a.
Americans. I'm not talking about Americans. I'm
Well, I
talking
was going to say
about
because I
the
don't believe
yeah.
there's such a thing as a woman that's not crazy.
Well, fair.
Um,
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, I'm going to get myself in trouble, so I better shut up. Let's get into Capcom's opinion on the state of things.
Good old Capcom. Yeah,
yeah.
my Discord's being special in the head. Capcom declares that simply translating the games developed under Japanese norms can end up hurting users. Well, Capcom, I don't know why Capcom has decided it wants to go out of business, but I mean, I guess it's time. They've decided
Well,
that they've had enough now. It's
yeah.
time for them to
Well,
cease.
Well, to be fair, out of all the Japanese companies, Capcom bending the knee first does not surprise me at all,
Yep.
right? And of course, what Capcom is basically saying is that they are going to be adjusting their games depending on the market they're selling it in. So therefore, say we have the new Street Fighter 6 that's out and it seems to be getting some good buzz. I'll have to wait and ask my son because he used to play competitively with the Street Fighter, so I'll see what he thinks about it. But nevertheless, it seems to be getting some good buzz. But here's the thing: the characters, their backstories, their outfit design will be different for a Japanese person or a Chinese person or a Middle Eastern person or a European person, etc. Each market, they're doing it specifically to show concern for the local
Pussies.
history and
Oh,
yeah, oh that word, yeah. So it's not as bad as you think. It could be worse, but
it will be.
it might well be. Now we know
Because they've
there.
already shown that
Mhm.
they'll genuflect, right? They only
Yes.
care about making the money, and they think that for some reason these companies listen to social media as if it's real, if it's a real thing, and like people there matter. They don't, nor do their opinions, nor do their whole bloodlines. But anyway, uh, these companies listen to this because they pay these people a lot of money to,
Hmm.
research social media and be social media marketing managers. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
But because they watch this stuff and they see all these people crying and moaning about things in video games as if it was their grandmother dying. Listen, folks, anybody hearing this right now, anybody in the world, if anything that ever happens in a video game hurts you,
Hmm. You need to get a
you
life.
just do oh, there's a lot of things I want to say, but I'll be nice with Chester. You need to get a life.
Yeah.
That is pathetic.
Yeah.
That is beyond pathetic. I can understand it upsetting you, but actually causes you, what's the word they use? End up hurting users, hurting them.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
what is
What?
is a Capcom character gonna come through the screen and
well,
kick me in the head? What the
Yeah.
hell?
I'm
Maybe
I'm
that'd be cool.
I'm not nice. I'll say it. Shut up, you fucking faggots.
Oh, 55 minutes in and
Yeah.
absolutely canceled. Nice.
Well, I think it
Uh,
works. Well,
yeah.
I'll say this. I think from Capcom, this is more lip service than actually doing because from what I've seen from Street Fighter 6, for all the people who complained about certain characters in Street Fighter 5, the usual suspects about overly sexualized characters,
Beautiful.
and they always ignored that the men are fairly sexualized in this game. Like
Of
in
course
Street
they are.
Fighter 5, they literally made a one of the skins is literally called Sexy Ryu. And what is it? Oh, it's Ryu bearded with a beard and shirtless. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and that's
Can
fine.
But
You know,
but
it's like
but
back.
that
Go ahead.
so what did they do with Street Fighter 6? Oh, they ramped it up. The Cammy is more curvaceous than she's ever been. Yeah, her default skin, she's a little bit more clothed, but she has her classic skin, so it's right there. You don't even have to do a whole hell of a lot if you want to get it. The new female character is basically Muscle Mommy, and she's got a freaking skin where she's wearing a button-down shirt, but the shirt's unbuttoned midway, and she's clearly not wearing a bra. So,
Oh, you talk about
Right.
the
so
transgender character.
no, she's not trans.
Yeah.
She's
Uh huh. Uh-huh.
Look. Do not validate those peoples with that nonsense because
Uh-huh. No, uh-huh.
they'll hear somebody say that, and there'll be 200 posts tomorrow going, "See, told you Marissa was transgender." No,
Yeah.
no,
Chester,
At
no.
what angle
You're just
does the
trying to
bulge
will.
become effective?
Chester,
Yes.
Well,
I have my hand up. I have a very simple question.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
How is it possible to sexualize, overly sexualize pixels?
Oh, people do
They're
it all
not
the
real.
time.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, I
My
know.
point is, I can understand a complaint about over sexualizing real women or real children or real men, whatever. Okay, I get that. They ain't real. They can do anything with them, make them look like anything they want at all, at any time. In fact, I bet if you had some skill, you could make a mod for this game that would cover up all the skin. Basically, they'd be out here in burkas fighting.
I bet
You
you
can do
Well,
could.
you know,
anything you
Yeah.
want.
I
well,
bet you could. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just pixels, but it can piss a lot of people off. Like Last of Us 2, they over sexualize. Like nobody cared that she's a
Everything.
lesbian, but that they made the whole story like every 10 minutes. They're like, oh yeah, did we
Uh
forget to remind you she's a
Tower,
lesbian?
But
a
that,
lot of us cared she was a lesbian because she was a little girl.
well, that, but that's
Fair,
different
yeah,
because that's a
I
character
cared in the
decision.
first game, but in the second game she was old enough, but I still didn't care enough. Like, I mean, I don't
That's a
believe in
character
sexualizing
decision though.
children now.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about appearance
Hey, hey,
wise.
hey.
My
But
point
see,
is,
Chester, that's the point. That's the point. It's pixels. It's not a real character, but
yeah,
still, they're making pixels where it's sexualizing, say, in that case, children. It's not right.
I do apologize. I seemingly have absconded with your point, Thundero.
apparently.
Yes,
My
I'm going to go
point
make
is
coffee and let you do that.
You're
these
welcome. I convinced Chester that you were right, Thundero.
these
Mm.
these images, these pixels, one, they're not real. So any argument you would that these people, because the reason why they care about it is, well, the real reason is they're jealous. They know they'll never even remotely be a sexy creature. So they look at something that men find sexy and they hate it because of envy. But the reason
Yeah.
they say is because of something something feminism, something something demeaning, something. What if that was your daughter? It ain't real. It's not real. It's not a real thing. Now, you want to talk about like child porn, digital child porn and stuff. Yeah, that's gross and should be banned outright. But it isn't because the image has sexuality to it. It's because it's disgusting what it's implying and what it's leading to. A
Yeah.
girl in a fighting game wearing very little clothing or no clothing is a fighting game that's got boobies out. It's okay. You see what I mean? Like there's a whole lot of hullabaloo about we're gonna these characters are too sexualized. Um, so what? They're all adult characters. The game is made for teenagers and up.
Yeah.
Grow the fuck up. We can see some titties. It's okay. Listen, my wife has humongous, beautiful boobies. I see them all the time. I
Yeah.
promise you, I'm not going to explode if I see more. I promise. It's not going to happen. So I
Boobs?
think
Well,
the world will be fine if everybody gets to look at boobs. In fact, we have the data. Jester, you know you were talking about there's a lot of older angry people. We
Yeah.
have the data. We know now for a scientific fact that looking at boobs for both male and females is an antidepressant,
Oh,
a
nice.
natural antidepressant. It makes you happier to look at boobs.
My wife says
We
I'm a
have the
booby
science on it
master.
now. Yeah, yeah. So my point is,
Just going to leave that
they
hanging
say
there, are
they
you,
use
Grimlock?
these terms, right?
mm,
Like
yeah.
my favorite one is objectifying. You're objectifying women. Women are objects. There's no other way I can explain it to
So
you
are
that other
we.
than everything. Yeah, everything is an object, or
Yeah.
it wouldn't exist.
Well,
That's what
that's
object
how humans
means.
work. We objectify everything
Yes.
and and judge whether it is beneficial
The other
or
one they
malignant. Yeah.
use, and they use it like Grimlock said, very hypocritically, is you're sexualizing. It's a digital pixel. It can be anything. It can be anything you
Huh.
want it to be. It can be anything the creator wants it to be. To say you're sexualizing it, no one wants to actually physically have sex with a pixel. What they want to have sex with is the images that the pixel is representing.
Mhm,
Right? Like
mhm,
if
mhm.
a real woman, like a lot of the Street Fighter chicks, for instance, for some reason we're talking about specifically
Cammy
Street
is
Fighter here.
banging though.
If a real woman like that existed, yeah, men would want to fuck her. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can put her in a burqa. Men would be like, "Yep, I know it's. I see it." It doesn't matter. My point is that the entire argument is so stupid. It's asinine. It's unscientific, and it's a waste of anybody with intelligence's time. And that is why they do it. They know it's a waste of fucking time. They know that they have no actual point other than envy. They're just jealous that they'll never be pretty or never be as sexually appealing. And
That is an
they
issue,
can't
yeah.
cope with it. They can't cope with it, so they turn it into something that it's not. They act like it's some grand moral crusade that we're going to make women feel better about themselves. Okay, so in your journey to try and make women feel better about themselves, my wife and I were looking at the Diablo 4 characters. You can be male or female for either one. Not a single one, Chester, not a single one of the females has large breasts. None of them.
Of course not.
So wait a minute. So all the large-breasted women, they don't count.
No.
They don't matter. We don't care about their opinions or their feelings.
Over here, we don't really know we don't know they exist. Let's be fair.
Well, they do. They're just all in anime.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. But the thing with this is a lot of Japanese companies could care less. What Capcom is saying is like, okay, fine, we'll adjust yours, but we ain't adjusting ours, right? Is what they're basically saying. Will it get worse? Probably, but Capcom is the one to look
Here's the real
for
solution.
that, for sure.
If it was just a localization issue, which I'm fine with, I don't really care about localization. I think it's fine. If it was just that, then make it an option. Simple as that. You turn the game on, you select your whatever, your culture, I guess,
toggle
whatever
it.
you want to call it, and just toggle it. So if you want the more traditional Street Fighter-y look, cool. You toggle on the Japanese or whatever you want, a traditional. If you want a more, censored look, then have that be an option.
Yeah,
right?
I
I don't
mind
understand why this is so complicated. It's always all or nothing. I don't get that.
You know what games did really good with that? Is some of the older Call of Duties, Halos, Gears of Wars, they had the gore option. So you could remove the gore and heavy violence out of some of it and make it a lot more friendly for other audiences.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
I just don't get it. I don't get why it's not just an option.
Well, here's why. As I've said before, and I'll continue to say, it's not about having the option. It's about having the scalp. Oh, you like this? Oh no, we can't have that.
Yeah.
We can't, because let's be honest. If you really bother about sexy women, and they made an option, you just turn on your Street Fighter, you set it to Karen, and there. You get your fucking.
That's true. Well,
that's what Capcom should do. They should call it Karen.
Karen.
All the
Karen
women
hilarious.
Nancy Grace.
Even if it is an option, people always have an issue with it. I mean, No Russian and Modern Warfare 2 is a perfect example, Chester, because it's totally optional. You could completely skip it, not play it, totally optional, and it was still a huge deal when No Russian first came out. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's so terrible! Why would that be in a video game?" It's like you can skip it. In fact, it gives you a big prompt to skip it before it goes on.
Russian?
Have you ever genocides and hate crimes and war crimes and just everything I've committed in video games? Oh
yes,
boy.
Yes. No,
why no Russian? I don't get it.
So the controversy over No Russian and Modern Warfare 2 is you're essentially playing like a covert op with this Russian mafia cartel, these big Russian players. Well, they're essentially trying to frame the U.S. or whoever. So they go into a Russian airport and all you do is mow down civilians. Like you're killing hundreds upon hundreds. You're mowing down. You're doing a terrorist attack.
Right.
And the story of the game is they know that you're an American, so they kill all these Russians. They escape, and then they leave your body. So the Russians find it like, oh, the Americans just killed a shit ton of civilians. This is an act of war. They go to war with the U.S. That's the story of it in the game.
Yeah.
But because of how atrocious it is, just shooting civilians, it's completely optional. Yes. Shut up. They make it optional. So before it even happens, they're like, hey, extreme violence, extreme gore, not suitable. It's completely skippable. There's no achievements, no nothing attached to it. So you can completely skip it and still 100% beat the game. And it was still super controversial when it first came out because everyone's like, oh, that's so terrible.
I
Well, just
love the
don't play it.
fact that the creators of the game thought Russians were the ones who were going to create human atrocities with terrorism. Huh. It's interesting. Anyway, yeah, no, we know it's dumb. Although
Well, no, it's
this is
called No
better
Russian because you kill a bunch of
than
Russians.
that.
No Russians alive.
That's not the point. The fact that they tried to put that onus on the Russians as if they
Yeah,
do that kind of thing. Yeah,
Seemingly, they do the opposite. Hard as
seemingly,
they can.
oddly enough, honor and all that.
It's
But I'm not going to get into a conversation about what's actually going on in Russia right now. But I will say that Putin has proved himself to be way more patient than I would have been.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Listen, if
impressive.
I had Putin's ability, I'm not even gonna say it. It wouldn't be pretty. This world would
No,
be a totally different place by the
yeah,
time I was done.
but he definitely has been waiting for someone to come to the table because he wants peace. But I love the fact that he's done everything he can to not actually put his army in there.
Yeah.
And it looks like this mercenary company is going to be able to get it done. So I guess that's a win for him. But anyway, let's move on. But this kind of conversation is going on everywhere right now, and it's certainly not going to go away anytime soon. But let's move on to some more idiocy.
The Flash review, an unfunny CGI monstrosity of a superhero film. Yeah, I haven't been hearing good things.
No,
Not at all.
well, the reviews are very, very mixed. We're getting a lot of
Yep.
this, but we're also getting a lot of how dreamy Ezra Miller is, though. We're getting a lot of
That
dreaminess.
is
There's some
weird.
people that are in love with Ezra, and how
So
he is the
weird.
best thing, and then fan service comes in. It's horrible. How dare they help the fans? But here's the thing that's very interesting about this: we having all kind of headlines. They're all over the place. They're literally juxtaposed to each other, being the opposite, right? But it looks like the director of the film has confirmed it for us. So go ahead and read this.
The Flash producer Barbara Muschietti claims the movie's cameos were, quote, the core idea of the film itself.
All
No!
right. Well, thank you, ma'am.
I don't
Thank
buy
you.
it.
Thank you. And of
Jeez, of
course,
course it
her
was.
husband or a brother or somebody with the same name as the director, Andy Muschietti, is the director of the movie. So I don't know their relation, but I'm husband and wife probably. But nevertheless, thank you very much, Barbara. You've confirmed. It is a piece of shit. The whole point is really get the cameos, and that's our whole movie was based on that. And of course,
Yes.
every review agrees. Ben Affleck, particularly with Michael Keaton here, are really what makes the movie. And it's either and you can see it in every review. It's either like, wow, it's the best part of the movie, or the stupid fans who get their Michael Keaton, yeah, so either way, it's proving that Michael Keaton did a good job. And of course,
As we always
Barbara
know.
here has confirmed it. Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can just dissect all of the mistakes they made with this, but this right here is really that's the big one.
Very
You
telling.
cannot make a movie with the only purpose of it is just to bring in like that's not even a movie. What is that? Like, I don't know. It's just dumb. The whole premise is dumb. We've seen Flashpoint done far better than I guarantee you they're going to do in this movie. They've done Flashpoint enough. Crying out loud, leave it alone. Uh, it's just dumb. And the worst part about it for me, Chester, isn't the fact that the movie's ass, because it obviously is. I knew it was going to be. Everybody knew it was going to be. Ezra Miller's ass. He's never been done anything good ever in his whole career. Uh, is the fact that we have James Gunn and others in DC and Warner Brothers praising it, loving it, saying it's so great, saying they can't wait for remember all this? Can't wait for people to see it. I'm not going to cancel this one because there's just it's so good. People are going to love it and blah 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 and yeah, that gives me absolutely the little tiny sparkle of hope that there's a chance, maybe, just possibly they'll thread this needle and give me something awesome from DC again. Yeah, that shit that needle's getting thinner and thinner every day because all of the people in charge that I've heard talk about this film said that it was great and they loved it and they wanted more of it and they hope the fans really responded to it and all this stuff. And by every review I've seen of it, and most of them just been little snippets, it's mediocre at best. And it has some really cool moments, but otherwise it's mediocre at best. That's not
Well,
good. And that's not good
here,
enough.
here's what the truth of this probably is. All the people who are saying it's good, they're just paying lip service because they had to.
Pretty much.
This movie didn't get canceled because it was too fucking expensive. When Zaslav came in, we all talked about how he was chopping shit left and right, cutting losses, this and that. And considering how long this movie was, for lack of a better term, in production hell because it was supposed to have been out, all the reshoots, all the CGI and the cameos or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if they've spent upwards of $300 million with this fucking bomb.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're
Nobody
not
asked.
gonna, yeah.
Nobody asked for this movie because Ezra Miller was the least liked amongst any of the Snyder castings.
He's so dreamy
And
though, Grimlock.
I guess if you're mentally ill, yes, he probably is. To a normal, warm-blooded person, whether you're male or female, you can't. There's no way you look at that little twink and think there's anything appealing about him.
Chester's new favorite word.
Yeah, Twinkies.
But
No, twerp would be the word that I would use.
Yeah.
He is, and he was chosen because he's a twerp. I mean, that's the point. He looks like a twerp.
I mean,
beyond fed up.
when you think twerp, you think of somebody like Rick Moranis, and at least he has charm to him.
Oh yeah, Rick's great.
There's nothing charming. There's nothing charming about Ezra Miller.
Endless charisma. Rick Moranis. In fact, I would much rather watch a Rick Moranis Flash movie. That would be great because he has the charisma. He can pull it off. I bet he'd pull it off. I bet it'd be good.
Ezra Miller looks like the relative you don't leave with your children unsupervised for more than 15 minutes.
Definitely.
Well, and he's proven you right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which of course is part of the problem is his crime spree he went on. He got a slap on the wrist, and he said, "I'm sorry, kinda," that was good enough. Good enough.
But
but
again, I think that was all financial decisions.
Of course, it was.
I think the movie's budget had gotten so bloated that by the time Zaslav came in, and certainly long before they even thought about hiring Gunn, that budget became so obnoxious and so big that they probably couldn't shelf it, especially after promising people Michael Keaton. Because to be honest, that's the only reason people are gonna go. The only reason people had any interest is because you dangled that carrot in front of the people, and to do all of that and not do it.
Yeah, I understand the decision.
Would be even worse. Like I said, what Gunn said was lip service because he already proved it was lip service because when he did the debut for his plan, what did he say? This is going to be a hard reset. You wouldn't say that if the fucking movie was actually good.
All right. No, the guy who directed the Aquaman movie saying it, he was really heavily hit by that because he had to go change everything because of the reset.
Yeah.
But no, we're not going to see Ezra after this in regards to Warner Brothers. But I get why they put it out. And also keep in mind, when I first heard it, I figured we'd literally have just an actual cameo from Michael Keaton. But that's not what's happening. The third act of this movie is heavy Michael Keaton. So it's not a cameo. Even though she's saying it's a cameo, he's actually in the movie quite a bit toward the end of it. And there's even a George Clooney shows up at the end. So, it's this multiverse crap. They love this multiverse crap because they could do whatever they want and they can say, it's a multiverse. That's the whole point. Huh?
There's no consequences. That's why I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I refuse to watch anything Flash related until they give me a blonde Flash. I'm done. Barry Allen, if you're going to do Barry Allen anyway, Barry Allen is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man. Mm-hmm. And a man. He's not some little scrawny dude. He's actually a pretty big dude. It's like 6'1", 6'2". He's pretty big. He's just smaller than the rest of them.
He's lanky.
Yeah. Chester, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Dundara wants Daryl Hall to play Barry Allen.
He does.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. Yeah.
Listen, is he blonde haired and blue eyed, not a manlet? Then I'm in.
Yeah.
Get him in there.
I tell you what, Daryl Hall, Grimlock, in his later life here, he's just singing and he's having friends, famous people come over his house
Oh
and
yeah.
they just have these singing things. Oh, he is chirping, dude. Damn, Daryl. I mean, he's always had a great voice, but
Yeah.
pop, man. That pop music locks him into that nonsense, right? You don't hear their true voices. That dude can sang. Daryl
Oh yeah.
Hall, dude. Damn.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
what else
saying.
I'd
You
like,
know,
Chester?
he could sit there, tap into the Speed Force, hit you with some private eyes in between. Win-win for
Private
everybody.
eyes are watching you.
Listen, if
Coming
we're handing out
high,
movie roles to
watching you,
blonde-haired,
watching you.
blue-eyed men, then Reacher needs to either be Aquaman,
Mhm.
the new
Oh,
Aquaman,
they should use him. Yeah.
or you could shave his head and make him Luther because he can play a bad guy. I watched Fast X. Spoiler: he can play a bad guy. Or they need to get him into Marvel and have him be Doctor Doom. If they're not going to get Henry to be Doctor Doom, they got to get somebody who's got
Victor. Oh, interesting.
menace.
Yeah, you
He's
need
gotta
some of a
have
menace.
menace.
Although Doom doesn't necessarily have to be a big bulky guy. The
Yeah, but he
suit
needs
can
to
do
be
that, but he
menacing.
needs menace. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he can pull off menace. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's menacing as shit in Reacher. Like the very first time you see him, he menaces somebody into calming their ass down.
I have an idea. Uh-oh. What you
Thinking
do is you
unsupervised.
no, you put Doom in the mask and you don't show his face until you want to show the little teeny scar on his cheek because his vanity. He's not really scarred, right? But anyway, you put him in the mask the whole time, so we have whatever body you want in that outfit, right? And then the voice
There it
coming
comes.
out of it. Yeah, wait for it. Anthony Hopkins.
Oof.
Oh my
Good work. Good
dude.
work.
Dude, I know he's already done
I
Odin,
want to
but
see.
my
I
God,
want to see
dude,
Alan Richardson
because
get
that
more
guy
work.
can menace.
He's a good actor. He's actually a great actor. And he's built like a literal human tank.
Yeah, he is.
And
Yeah,
we've had this
he
whole
was so good in
decade
Reacher, dude.
plus.
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah,
This whole decade, he's good in Fast 10. His whole decade plus of superhero movies, and a man who's built literally like a comic book character has not been cast in them. I know he was like Aquaman back in the day in Smallville or something, but that doesn't matter. I'm talking about in big budget movie productions. How has he not been cast to do something is beyond me.
yeah, I don't know.
It's funny you guys were talking about we were talking about, the sexualization stuff and how they complain about it. One of the only franchises that I can think off the top of my head that has avoided all that nonsense is the Fast and the Furious franchise. They don't have any of it. They still got
'Cause it's
scenes
just-
where they got girls dancing around with the booties out and
It's
everything.
just goofy
like,
popcorn,
the whole
dude.
deal.
Yeah.
Hey, but Chester, to us, yes, but to them it's a scalp, and Vin has kept them the fuck away from it.
Well,
He's the one in control of that.
wasn't there a scene in Fast and the Furious before Gal Gadot got famous where she literally takes her panties off, walks across the room, walks across a road, and sits on a man's lap? Is there not a
Correct.
scene?
Well, yeah.
Did I
It
miss
was.
see
It was.
that?
That happens.
Yeah.
That
No,
happens,
it was a
yeah.
scene. Yeah, she's on the beach and she goes by him in a bikini, sits next to him, and lets him grab her ass so they can get his fingerprints to
Yeah, but
use for key code or something. It was,
that's not the scene I remember. She's in this little mini
Yeah,
sundress across the street. They see. She says, "I'll take care of it." She takes her panties
yeah,
off.
it was on the beach. No, she was on the beach. She wasn't naked.
No.
But
She had a little
'cause
sundress
I
on, and she
think-
took her panties off.
think
I remember.
You guys are talking about two different.
she wasn't bottomless. That's what I'm saying. Because yeah, she was using it because they was trying to figure out how to get the key code because they needed the guy's fingerprints, and she's like, "I'll take care of it," and she does, and because when she gets back to the hideout, they was making jokes about how did he grab her ass? Was it like, did he grab it like this? Did he grab it like that?
They were. Yeah. Let me check here. Hold on a second. Because am I thinking of a different movie?
You might be, because there is another movie where she gets basically naked before she became Wonder Woman.
Chester's like, hold up, I gotta watch a grab ass video for a few minutes.
This is research.
somehow, some way, that franchise, which is fairly large, has avoided all the nonsense. There's absolutely nothing woke about them at all. The most woke thing about it um, is the supremely diverse cast, but it's always had that. Long before this stuff started
Yeah.
happening, it's always had that. So it's like it's not
Every,
really a thing. Like we know that's not why it has it. It has it simply because it always has.
yeah. Well, I think it's because with the Fast and Furious franchise, from day one, everybody pretty much knew what they was getting. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not Scorsese. It's not Spielberg. This is, hey, I want to go somewhere for an hour and a half, 2 hours, have fun, and not think too much.
Pretty
That's
much.
what.
It has its
That's
own
what the
physics,
Fast. Yeah.
its own complete laws of
It's
physics that don't make any
Oh,
sense, but hey, we're here for
she
it.
had a.
it's
I
level of,
see. I miss.
yeah.
Okay, she had a sarong on, and she took it off, showing the bikini and went over. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Skinny ass
Yeah.
girl or whatever.
Yeah, she's way too
Yeah.
skinny. That's too skinny.
So
That's eat a cheeseburger, sweetheart. Holy shit.
Yeah. But
yep.
anyway, Tower research verified. Okay. But another thing I wanted to mention real quick. A character that no one is mentioning. Matter of fact, I forgot because I've read a bunch of articles, right? And saw videos, and I completely forgot she's even in the movie. Is this one? This fake Supergirl?
Yeah. Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
No one's even mentioning her, dude. Even though
Not a
not a thing
another
about her.
blonde swapped over to a brunette, and I'm a brunette, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Where's the blonde representation at? Why they always got to be swapped?
Because
It's annoying.
everybody knew what she was there for, and everybody who saw that was like the majority, except for the paid shills because they're gonna pretend they like it so they can get their cat food money.
hmm Well, it doesn't matter. This
We
movie is
everybody
done
looked at
here.
everybody looked at that and was like, ugh. Again, like I said, to all the people in Warner Brothers who are praising this, it's lip service. I
Sure,
wouldn't
sure.
even be mad at it because it's like I said, this movie has way too much money put into it to where even Zaslav is like, well, can't X this one.
Yeah, but I
But
wonder how it's going to do because right now we've had just movie after movie bombing, right? Little Mermaid
Yep.
bombed. Looks like the Dial of Destiny's got a bomb. It's just tons of movies just bombing and bombing,
well,
left and right, losing money. I mean, shit, they're saying that Little Mermaid could lose over $200 million,
Good.
right?
Good.
I mean,
here,
that's a
here's
lot of money, dude.
They deserve it.
here's my milk toast prediction for the Flash. Opening weekend because everybody wants to see the Keaton scenes, and nobody has been able, at least so far, nobody has gotten them recorded where they can put them on Twitter yet. Opening weekend, they'll do decently because people want to see Keaton.
That is
All the
fair,
other
Alan.
shit, all the other shit is going to be seen, and it'll probably hit fucking Tom Cruise itself off a cliff the following weekend, and nobody will talk about it afterward.
Yeah, no, Tom Cruise is going to eat everything, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible is going to be the movie this year. I'm putting my money on it right now, just like Maverick was last year. I have a feeling that Tom is in this weird, like, he's 60 years old and he's about to hit the biggest he's ever been. I don't know why, but I just think he's because one, he's very careful with his properties, but I think he has the pulse of what the people want to see. I genuinely do.
That's not, yeah, I mean, he's in movies that are literally they're giving people what they want. Top
Yep.
Gun Maverick didn't have any of the side BS like it was straight up. We wanted jet fighters. He gave us jet fighters. I mean, when you
Oh, yeah,
give
he
the
did.
people what they want, you're gonna be successful. When you try to spoon feed them bullshit, you're gonna lose money.
Yep, that's true. And,
Well, the other
and
problem I wanted to say real quick, you said a whole bunch of these movies are bombing. The other problem they're having is they're all coming out at the same damn time.
yeah,
Like some of these movies are only like a week apart. Like what
they're
what
eating
did they
each
think
other.
was
Yeah,
gonna happen?
yeah.
Yeah,
But we are
spread them out,
seeing
guys. You got a whole year.
we're seeing a lot of bombing. We really are. But the simple fact that Mr. Cruz literally jumped off a mountain 6 times in one day just to get it right, dude. Give that man
That's right.
his your money. Do it.
At 60, Chester. He's
Yes, I
older than
know.
you. He's
I
out here
know.
jumping off mountains.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
I'm
Given
38. I'm
that,
like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna stay right here. I ain't jumping off no mountain. What's wrong with you, Tom?
I walked around
the
many,
only
many
thing I'm
hours
giving that,
yesterday, and I was exhausted.
the only thing I'm giving that manlet is my ass to kiss. Fuck
That's
him.
true. That's true. That's true.
Well,
We know how
everybody
much you
but
love. Yeah,
Grimlock
yeah,
is
yeah.
on the
That's
Tom
fair.
Cruise
That's fair.
train.
But you know, the funny thing's going to be we're going to get the clips from the movie with the Michael Keaton scenes. We are, and you know what? All this silly hype,
That's what I'm saying. And
I bet you it's not
in
even
that
very
first
good.
weekend,
I bet you it's not even
No,
very good. I really do.
yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
I've heard I've heard some people who has gotten early screenings of it that the parts that he's in are easily the best parts of the movie. But again, just show you how weak they are. You just mentioned it. A 60-year-old Tom Cruise, a 70-year-old Michael Keaton,
yeah.
and this is what you're leaning on
Well, the
because
problem
you ain't
is,
got.
An
yeah,
80-year-old Harrison Ford.
yeah. Well, the
Well,
problem is we don't have a lot of people to pick
that's
up the
even worse
slack.
because nobody wanted to see that.
No,
Even
we don't want
indie
to see
fans
that.
was like, no, we don't.
I'm telling
And
you,
we did.
we do though. They're just all in the Fast franchise for some reason. Now, like Vin went around and like, I'll take him. I'll have him. Have me some of this
Yeah.
guy. You got Clint Eastwood's son, who is a really good actor. He actually has a lot of presence, and he looks a lot like his dad. Is in that franchise. You got Kurt Russell pops in every now and again. You
Hmm.
got Wonder Woman popping in and out of that thing. You got Vin Diesel, obviously. You got The Rock, obviously. You got Jason Statham, obviously. You got all these guys, and you got Reacher in there now, and randomly Brie Larson shows up. Apparently, they've just been out here poaching. Just about, yep, I'll have
Did
that one.
did
Give me
did
some. Give me some of
Brie
that.
Larson die?
No,
Damn it!
unfortunately,
We can
but
only
Horrible
hope.
she
movie.
does show up. Terrible film.
Terrible
0 out of
movie.
10.
I'll tell you
Anyway,
what. I'll tell you what. I'll throw Hollywood a bone right now because if since you want a badass female, I'm gonna throw you a bone.
Yeah,
See
I
if
know it.
Amanda Nunes is interested
I
in
love it.
acting
I love it.
because she just retired. She said she's tired of beating the hell out of bitches in real life.
Yep.
See if you could pay her to fake beat some bitches on
Oh,
the
she'll
real
be in
screen because
WWE
she.
by next year. 100%.
I think so. I hope so too, and I hope she beats
100%.
the fuck out of Ronda again.
You know another one that would be great in WWE right now is Rhea.
Yeah,
She's got the size. She's got the athleticism. She's beautiful. She's young enough
yeah.
that they can market her to any kind of thing they need to do. Like,
yeah,
if
but
you really want to get some bad bitches in there, because like in the '80s, we had bad bitches.
we did.
These weren't just
Unbelievable.
like little weak little. No, these women look like they could kick my ass.
No,
So I believed it. I'm like, all
people
right,
forget
I buy it.
people, people forget back in the day. Bridget Nielsen, in her
Beast.
prime, she was a towering fuck. She was taller than half the men she was with.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like,
she's a model. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on from this. We could talk all the bad movies all day, really. But
because there's so many of them.
there's so
Where
many of
where
them.
is Jay Sherman when you need him?
Uh, well, of course, the thing with the Flash here that I'm bringing up is the fact that this guy is a bad dude, and
He's a
he's
terrible
been
human being.
just allowed to continue on anyway. Let's see more of it
Yeah,
because Hollywood seems to have a problem.
a fetish problem.
Host of the Robbie Starbuck show, Robbie Starbuck, accuses Megan Fox of child abuse. Says she forces her sons to wear girls' clothes. Oh, that would be
Well,
child
let's
abuse.
see. Let's check. Yes, we got a picture
Yeah, there's some photo evidence.
there. Yeah,
I
yeah.
seen it.
So,
Oh my.
yeah, are these little girls?
Nay.
Which
Yes,
one of them's
bigot.
female? Which one's male? Curious.
Who knows?
I guess whichever one she picked.
This one says strong girls. Is that a girl or a boy?
It's hard to tell at that age. Well, I can tell you that the one in the middle's a boy, and I can tell you how I know that. Look at the way the feet are going when he walks. Look at him.
Yeah, no, it looks like a
That's how
boy.
men walk. That's how
Um,
males walk. Females don't walk like
but
that.
the ones on
Uh,
the ones on the corner though.
yep. That
Oh,
one's tough.
Yeah, this
Was it stuff
especially
wrong?
this one here on the left, it's hard to tell. But yeah, nevertheless, and I don't know, they could all be boys. I don't really know. I don't really care. But it's just more of this nonsense out of Hollywood. And here's the thing, I have a question. I have a question. Beyond this weird, creepy, girling up their boys and all the nonsense we know what's going on, and go get 'em, Mel. Get 'em, Mel. But beyond that, I have a question. What the hell happened to Megan Fox, dude?
Well, good lord.
Hollywood.
Look at her, dude. Look at her. I mean, the smoke show that is Megan Fox. She is one of the most beautiful women
Oh,
to ever be on the screen, dude. She's stunningly gorgeous. Stunningly gorgeous. I don't care what you prefer or not prefer. This is a beautiful woman right here. Beautiful woman. What the hell is this? What did you do to your face, girl? You're beautiful. You don't have to touch. What did she do? Let me see if I can be okay. The nose has definitely had surgery done on it. Looks like
Lip
her
filler.
eyes have had. Looks like she's had a little bit of a lift in the back. How old are you? You don't need this shit. Look what she
I think it
did
was in
to
her
herself, dude.
40s. Um, yeah, that's what they do now. I mean, look at Madonna. She turned herself into a non-human. She don't even look
She's
human anymore.
monstrous, yeah. But
Yeah.
this is sad because
Wow, she's
Madonna
younger
was
than
never
me,
really
bro.
pretty, dude.
She's no.
I would
She is
disagree with that. And her
37
and
years old, Megan Fox. So she's younger than me by almost a year. Um, yeah, that's not good. I don't know what
Mm-mm.
Hollywood does to these women, but it breaks them, bro.
It
Like they're
does,
bro,
dude.
they're just done. I don't know if it's the pressure or if it's something more nefarious. I genuinely don't know, but the proof is in the pudding. All these women right around her age start doing weird stuff to their faces, and they all look horrible.
They do.
I've never seen it look better. Ever.
No,
Not
it's
one
not.
time have I seen it and like, oh yeah, she looks a lot better. Never. The only times when that happens is when you're younger and your body and stuff can adapt to some of the changes if you had like nose surgery or jaw surgery or something. But as you get older, your body doesn't heal like it used to.
No.
And it's set. It's kind of set where it is after 30 years of gravity. So doing this weird stuff to it, it just never looks right. I literally, and I'm not being like facetious or hyperbolic, I have never seen it where they get these elective plastic surgeries and it looks better on a woman like around her age. I've
No.
never seen it
Yeah.
ever.
She messed with her eyes, she messed with her nose. And the thing is, Megan, if you just left yourself like this, you'd have hit 60 and you'd look just fine, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at my cousin, right? She's in her early 50s now. And
Looks good.
I haven't noticed that she's done anything. She's too damn skinny, I'll tell you that.
Well,
But
yeah.
she looks normal, right? But then again, she is normal, married with kids, she kind of keeps it separate. But nevertheless, I just can't believe it. But beyond that, what are you doing to your kids? I mean, does it tell me what the kids are? Let me see here. One is wearing where he shared an image of Fox and her three sons. Okay, well, there it is. There it is. These are all boys.
Wow.
All boys. The one in the middle is obviously a boy. The one here on the
Yep.
right is questionable. But that right there on the left, that is feminizing your son. And it's like, look how proud she is. What have you done to your children? And I love how we get all these liberal, crazy lefties that will come out and they say, I'm a proud mother of two non-binaries or three transgenders," and you realize that doesn't happen naturally.
No, there's no shot.
Maybe she did, Alan. I'm not really sure, but she doesn't seem. I haven't really paid much attention to be honest, Alan. But it didn't seem to me the last time I saw her in the that anime movie that she had done much other than she needs to eat a hamburger. But wow, dude, this is bad, dude. Look at this. What do you think, Tower? Is this good or bad? Did I lose Tower?
Bad, bad, very, very bad.
I mean, the one on the left particularly, that's a feminized boy right there. It's even got strong girls wearing. I mean, come on, what are you doing to your kids, girl?
It's it's a literal disaster. is what it is.
Yeah.
These poor boys will probably never have anything resembling a normal life,
No, they won't.
especially if she goes the full Monty and literally castrates them or something like that. Uh,
But it used to be
we
moms
as a
were
society
well, yeah,
have
but
to start talking about this predatory mother shit that's going on in our civilization at a level I don't think we've ever seen, at least not in thousands of years. These women are literally sacrificing their children for to the god of clout. That's what they're doing. We can pretend it's not, but that's what they're doing, and we all know it. And it's disgusting, and
it
it
is.
needs to stop. Period.
Yeah,
Full
because
full end of stop. What you're doing.
well, mothers used to be proud of their sons.
Yes.
Looking forward to dreaming about them marrying and making their own family. I mean, it used to be that women would even, doubt upon their sons, right?
Yep.
Or excuse me, dote upon their sons. And this seems to be a reversal of the natural female course. What they're doing. Like, I mean, look here, I had to go research to figure out which one of them was male, right? Because I couldn't tell. And of course, now we know they're all female, they're all male. But I mean, that's how bad it was. I mean, the ones on the outside, especially the one on the left, I didn't know, right? And it's like, how desperate are you, Megan, to service these kids out? I mean, is that your point? Because this is sexual. This is a sexualization of your children. You're putting sex in their lives. So is her plan, or maybe she already has, serviced these kids out to get herself money? I mean, what are the chances of these kids being put in a situation where mommy is like, "Go do it for mommy, kids"? I mean, seriously. Because this is you're
Right.
sexualizing your children. If this was a normal, what, 12-year-old, there
Well,
would be zero sexualization going on with the kid, right? But here we are, sexualized, literally putting sex on top of your little kids. What are you doing?
yes. Yeah, no, that's a problem. Um, this is where that term has a meaning. Sexualizing is when you're talking about entities that are not designed to be sexual yet, right? Children, especially young males, don't start to really blossom later in life than this. And they're just we're
Yeah,
not.
boys are slow.
That's how humanity is. Yeah, we're a little slow on the uptake, boys. Um, so to like even like the weird stuff that people do with the model like the pageants and stuff over here, I've always thought that was creepy as shit too. But
Mm,
the same thing, it's the same kind of idea, except this I'd say is far worse because you're taking away this child's ability to exist as a child. What a child is a child's innocent. They're chaste. They're not a sexual being yet.
yeah. Well, I
And
was talking about
when you
the
start
ignorance
doing
of
this stuff,
children earlier.
yeah, you take it away from them, and you take that innocence is gone forever. You can't get it back. So now these kids will never. They're gonna go. They're already. That one's basically already getting there. They never got to have a childhood because it was always their mother imposing nonsense on them or doctors imposing nonsense on them. Somebody who should be protecting them imposing nonsense on them to try and get them to fit into whatever box they've decided they belong in. And it's revolting. Growing up, a lot of us, I had a sister who was a tomboy. She didn't like girly things at all. Nowadays, they tell her somebody try and convince her she's trans simply because she likes sports and that sort of stuff. Uh, no, she just likes sports. Like it's
Wow.
okay,
Look at this
but
Oh,
picture.
we
that's
were
the kind of stuff
actually
that's happening.
me and a coworker were just talking about this actually yesterday. His brother would play with a Dora doll growing up
Yeah,
until he was like 8 years old, and they made fun of him. They called him Dora the Explorer. But dude's like 17 now, as straight as could be, like totally normal. It's just one of those things. Kids don't know no better.
they
No,
just
and
do
it
stuff.
doesn't matter either. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter if a kid's playing with a Dora doll. It's irrelevant.
yeah,
It just let them be, and they'll work themselves into being what they become. But there's another picture here when the kids are much younger, and yeah, just full on dresses. This is their whole life. This is what they grew up in as a dress because mommy decided once they came out that they were going to be girls because she don't want no boys. She wants girls. So she's been dressing them as female and treating them as female since the day they were born. And she's not alone. There's a lot of women doing this, and it's like,
yes.
This is not
See,
how you treat little boys. It's just not.
it's just pure evil. Here's what you're going to raise. You're either going to raise some sort of monstrosity or a literal monster. Because these boys, if they get away from you or get out of it and don't get castrated, are going to grow up to be very weak, broken men. And that is the most dangerous creature on this planet, is a weak, broken man. Because they will hurt people and they will think they're doing good. They won't know the difference. They'll have no conceptualization of it. This idea that it's a good thing for a man to be somehow effeminate is preposterous. We have literally endless amounts of research on it, all the way back for thousands of years, talking about how dangerous it is for men to be this way. Every great society, all of them were against it. All of them, from day one, were against weak, effeminate men. They had differing words for it, in differing terms, and differing ways of dealing with it, but they've all been against it for a reason. And that reason is they're dangerous. They become craven monsters if you don't rein them in. Masculinity is the force that makes a man powerful, and that power is what keeps them from becoming a monster. And when you take it away from them at a young age, these boys will never know what it was like to be a masculine child. To have, roughhouse probably too much, or what, you know what I mean? To have the normal upbringing a boy should have.
You have to have
Boys are very
restraint.
tactile.
Did
You
Yes,
have to learn
exactly.
restraint.
you
They will
do? And
never learn that now. Ever.
did she
They
put
won't
a
know what it is.
did she put a choker on this kid?
She did.
Oh hell yeah, she did. That's probably not the only choker she's put on him, too.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
It's so gross. And it's funny because I was talking about talking to my wife about this earlier, that we have a serious epidemic in the West of them. It's always been, and it will always be to some level, that males, boys, men, mostly men though, are considered second. And that's fine. Most of us are fine with that. We want it
Sure.
that way. But boys shouldn't be. Boys should be considered equal until they're men. And the reason is because they need to learn restraint. They need to learn their place in the hierarchy of our society. They need to learn what it is to be a man
Yeah.
and how a man behaves. And they will not do that if you push them off to the side and treat them as anything else than what they are.
Well,
They just won't do it. They
it's
have
like
no desire to.
it's like that video that's going around right now that seems to be quite popular, where you have this girl who went through all the surgeries and all the hormones to make herself look like a dude, right?
Yep.
And then she's getting up there and saying that she didn't know how lonely it would be being a man. And it's like, well, yes, dear,
Yeah.
but men don't think that way because, we're actual men. We don't,
Yes.
our brains are different. So you're a female that should put yourself into a male community. Your brain ain't built for it, baby.
That's right.
Oh no,
You,
she ended up killing herself, if I'm not mistaken.
The other thing,
is it really?
and this is
All right.
yes,
Yeah,
she
she
did.
ended
The
up
other
killing
thing,
herself.
she had assisted suicide in
I'm
Switzerland or
talking
wherever.
about the new
Maybe she
one.
could have.
I'm talking about the new one, the girl who literally made herself a man, not the one that went the
Oh,
lesbian that went masquerading as a man, and she did kill herself. I'm talking about this is a new video that's going around.
my
But
wife and
either
I
or, it makes the point.
were talking about Marilyn Manson, and he was a big deal to my generation, especially.
Sure.
Um, and Columbine and what he said during Columbine, because apparently the kids liked his music, and of course the media tried to blame him for some reason that he was responsible for these kids shooting up that school. And they asked him, and he said his response was actually brilliant. They asked him, "Well, what would you say to those kids?" He said, "Nothing. I'd listen to them." And that's exactly the right answer. There's a lot of young men who have no outlet, none. They have a mother who does this sort of stuff to them. So any masculine energy they have built up is treated as if it's a cancer. They have a school system that tells them to sit down, shut up, never talk, never be rough, nothing. You're not allowed to be a boy, effectively. They have a society that tells them they're bad and wrong and have privilege and they should feel sorry for it, effectively. You have a generations. Our generation did it too. Mine and Grimlock had to deal with that stuff too. It was a lot less so than now, but we had to deal with it too. You have generations of males who have been raised in a highly effeminate society, highly effeminate, super effeminate. So yeah, some of them are going to break. And when they break, what happens when a man breaks? They break violently. They either kill
Unfortunately, yeah.
themselves or they kill other people. That's what happens. And that's exactly why the reason why, because they say the thing, like they're going on about it lately, that we got to keep guns out of the school. Guns aren't the problem. We have endless evidence of school children in this country taking guns to school for shooting classes and shooting clubs, and
Yeah,
they'd walk in with their guns. It was no problem. The gun isn't the
ROTC.
problem. The problem is a bunch of young men who have no support system around them to teach them how to be men. None. It's looked at as a bad thing. It's looked down upon. Masculinity's toxic now. Well, okay. You want to make masculinity toxic? That's what it looks like. It looks like a young kid who's deranged walking into a school and shooting it up. That's what it looks like. That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's I don't pay attention to these Hollywood people, so I didn't even know this was going on, but clearly it's been going on for a decade. And she's not the only one. We see so many of these women that are so proud of their transgender children, and it's like, well, how ironic it is that all of your kids are gay. How did that happen? I
Yes.
wonder.
Can't
Um,
imagine.
can't imagine, but yeah, no, it's going to be like Will Smith's kids, right? Because his kids way out of control. It's clearly he did not wear the pants in that family. He had, matter of fact, it's quite clear that he had no effect on that family whatsoever. Look how absolutely out of control his kids were, and his daughter. I haven't seen the boy in a while, but the daughter is right there with Mama talking about feminism and all that nonsense on her little show. And Jada's way out of control. But I mean, look at
Yeah.
just Will Smith's kids, and there are many, many, many kids that aren't from famous people, but they want the fashion because that's the problem. It's fashion. And if there were actual men around, they would talk to their women and say, yeah, we're not doing that, right?
Yes.
But they don't. But there are no men around. And this happens. I don't
Well,
know who she's married to, or what her thing is, but then ain't no man around these boys.
it depends where she's at too, because a lot of places it doesn't matter. You can say all that and do all that and fight it in court. You're just going to lose. They're going to side with the mother.
Oh, of
Happened in
course.
Texas. Kid was castrated because the mother was a psycho and said it absolutely needed to happen. Blah 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 blah. Father fought it all the way up to the Supreme Court and lost. And as far as I know, it happened. Uh, that's a big. That's the whole problem, though. That's the underlying problem of our entire civilization is it's effeminized. We have allowed it to become a female civilization, effectively, and unfortunately, that turns people into predators. That's just what it does. The only thing that restrains a man and turns him from a boy into a man instead of a boy into a monster is other men. Other men setting limits and making sure he doesn't cross these lines. And if he does, they handle it. That's the only way to do it. Every great philosophy, every great religion, every great civilization all had the exact same principle. Iron sharpens iron. And you need that energy around these boys, or else they're going to become something horrendous. Either they're going to become boys forever and never grow up, or a monster, like a lot of these kids are becoming, and or try and turn themselves into a woman and end up killing themselves or something else. Um,
Yeah, well,
this
near
whole
near
situation is
50% suicide rate, right?
yeah, this whole situation is utterly avoidable. But the only way it's going to get better, and you're right though, overall, is enough men are going to have to say, "All right, that's enough,"
Yeah,
immediately,
no, the men
not
need to
just
step up and deal with this
yeah,
problem, this particular problem. There are plenty of other problems that the women need to deal with it, but this particular one, men need to step in and deal with this because this
yeah,
is not right. Look at it, look at it, look at it, dude. It's right in your face, and and the reason why is right here, right? These kids have been treated like girls since they were born, right?
yes,
She's treated them like little girls the entire time. How would they know any different? Right? This is what the adult, the protector, has told them. Kids don't know. They are molded by their environment, right? When you become an adult, sometimes you could change your mind and take your own path, of course. But as a child, you're molded by your environment. That's why we teachers are very careful about how we educate and what we educate. And there's plenty of times where even though I'm teaching English with little kids anyway, but I'll also introduce culture into the teaching. It's not just ABCs and grammar. there's culture involved, and it's because
Yes.
it's not just the parents' responsibility or grandma's responsibility. It's also the community's responsibility to help guide the kids. It's part of our responsibility. There's a line, right?
Yep.
Where ultimately the parents going to have to make a decision on this, but we're all involved in it, especially teachers, because we are a group that interacts with the kids a lot, right? And we have a responsibility to make sure that we are keeping the cultural norms, and moving the kids forward in a proper way. It's just part of the job, right? And clearly, I don't know what kind of school these kids are going to, but the thing is, if I had a little boy and showed up in my class in a dress every week, right? I would have to have a sit down with a parent and ask what's going on. I would,
Yeah.
right? Because for me, it would be like, well, you're indoctrinating the kid, right? Because I'll make a statement, I'm sure it'll piss off some of you, but I feel the same way about religion, though, because we put these kids into these whatever religion you are, and from birth they are indoctrinated right into that religion, and they're never actually given the option to choose.
Hmm.
And I don't really like that. I mean, having it and having information around them is fine, but it's not. They're indoctrinated, and certain religions are a lot certain different dogma are much more heavy-handed than others. But
Right.
for me, it's a very similar thing. I think these kind of things and religion as well is something that as an adult you make a decision about, right? And I have no problem with it. I'm not anti-religious. You guys know that. But it's I don't like the indoctrination, and this right here shows you the problem, because these kids don't know any better. This is how they've been raised. This is their world,
Right.
right? And it's really, really sad. You didn't give your kids a choice, Megan. You made the choice for them.
Of course she did. She is the problem with the world. People like her, the women like her especially. Uh,
It's so bad, dude. Yeah.
they this is Chester. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason why every I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. Every civilization that's ever mattered didn't let women have too much political power. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there was a reason. Maybe they knew something we
Well,
didn't.
um, that's a very long conversation. Um, but I would say the biggest problem with having female leadership we've seen throughout historically anyway, is
Hmm.
is actually the biggest point is this: women are much quicker to go to war than men are.
Yep.
And that's really the biggest problem. Now I know that sounds weird, and a lot of the women say, if we had more women in charge, there'd be less war. No, there would be more.
No.
History shows us very clearly, and the reason why is because men are the ones that have to make the war, and
Yes.
that's why, because we actually have skin in the game. But historically, women, female leaders will go to war far quicker than men will. That's the biggest point, but there are other points as well. But nevertheless, let's move on from this. But dude, dude. And the thing is, I don't deep dive into these things. I bet you if I did, I'd be angry. I think, dude, I'd just be
You would.
pissed.
You would.
Because
It's
how
it's
many are doing
horrible.
this? How many of them are doing this, dude?
It hundreds of thousands at this point has to be.
Mm.
Um, it's a serious. I mean, to the point where major retailers are selling clothing designed for a male boy that looks like girl clothing. Now
Yeah. No, they're
that's
doing it
happening.
intentionally. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's one thing though, and I'm sure not everybody here would agree with me, but let's say you get a 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old boy that's getting caught up in the media hype, and says, I want to get a girl clothing. They start wearing girls' clothing. Me as a father, I would certainly sit down and have a conversation with them, but I'd let him go for a little bit, right? But
Yep.
this is not that's not this case, right? That's not what's
No.
happening here. This is very clearly right here. This photo is all you need. This photo. Those are little babies. They have no clue at all about who even they are. They don't even know who they are. Especially, what is this? A 3-year-old over here? This one's maybe 5, 6,
Mm.
right? So this little 5, 6-year-old's brain just opened, right? This one has no clue. It's like, oh, shiny. That's it. That's all that's going on in that head, right? And I know I've been doing this a long time. I know the development of human development very clearly. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And around 5 or 6, their brain opens up a little bit, and then around 12, they open up again in a different way. So yeah, it's disgusting. Anyway, let me move on. But beyond that, what are you doing to yourself, girl? I mean, look at the difference, dude. It doesn't even look like the same person. Look.
That's what they do. What they do.
Anyway,
They're
um,
they're broken.
double standards, right? Because I know when I was young, this right here, she'd be arrested.
She should be.
She would be. Yep. And this guy would be in jail, right? Not this guy. Those guys. Okay.
Yes.
But talking about double standards here, John Campea.
John Campea goes on unhinged rant, calls his subscribers racists, demands over 30,000 of them unsubscribe over race swapping of Astrid and How to Train Your Dragon.
Now, first of all, why are any of you following John Campea? How long does
I
it
don't even
take you to learn? I mean,
who's this.
honestly,
Well, faggots have to stick together.
I suppose. But of course, what was the name of that show before Collider? What did they call it before it became Collider? Someone help me out. But they switched over and they were bought by Collider. There was something else before, and it was a movie review channel and it had some interesting people on there. And I watched it way back in the day. But John was always insufferable, always this arrogant fella that's constantly looking for validation, and any opportunity he could get to kiss Hollywood's ass, he was all over it, right? All over it, right? John Campea. And of course, all that's gone, but he has his own thing, and it looks like he still has fans. But it's like, what are you doing following John Campea? This guy has proved himself over and over and over to be nothing but a shill. Nothing but a shill. That's all he is. It's his whole life. It's his desperate intention. Have you not learned that we knew this
Yep.
years and years ago? But beyond that, what he's so upset about is they've taken How to Train Your Dragon, which is a fun little movie series that my kids liked, and Astrid here, and made her into a black girl. This one that they're using in the Last of Us. And I'm sure in The Last of Us, she is a lesbian. I guarantee it. I don't even have to watch it. I know she is, right? Because sexualize the little black girl. Talk about sexualizing white kids. They're doing the black girls too, right?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And this jagoff over here, Pedro Pascal. But nevertheless, so that's what they're doing. Astrid is now a black girl for some reason, right? Of course, this is if you ever watch the series, like I said, my kids liked it and it was cute, right? But that's what people are upset about. Another race swap and a live action, which I don't even know why we need a live action. I mean,
Nobody
part of the
does.
flavor of How to Train Your Dragon is the animation style. You can't duplicate that in live action.
No.
But that's what the uproar is about here. John Campea, you can't believe it. How dare you have a problem with race swapping a Scandinavian? Ugh! Okay.
No, it's disgusting. The entire deal of it is it's disgusting. I think most decent people are completely and utterly sick of it because we see it for what it is, right? We see it only goes over one way, and the excuse is obviously bullshit. So what about all the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls that do exist that like the fact that Astrid looked like them? They don't
Oh
matter.
no, they
It only
don't
matters
matter.
if it's
No,
black
they don't
people,
matter.
black girls. Black girls are all that matter.
That's not representation. White people are demons. Didn't someone tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they put horns on her. Problem solved.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But I mean, I was saying this is a
It's
Scandinavian story. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. But not anymore. And it's like you better get on that movie because this girl's growing up. I don't know how old she is, but she's already starting to become female. She's already starting to get memories come up. She's not going to fit that age group very well, so I don't even know
Yep.
what they're thinking. But then I guess she is kind of a young adult, I suppose, by this time. Yeah. But whatever. That's not the point. Yeah, this one here, this girl, and it's like why? Has anyone watched this? Anyone want to confirm that they lesbianed her out? Because I bet you they did, dude. I bet you they did.
No, I didn't care for it as a video game. I damn sure wasn't watching it as a TV series.
Yeah. It's a shame though. This is a fun little series actually. You guys ever see How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing. My kids liked it. It was cute. But that's no more of that. Done with that. Okay. But John is big mad. John's big mad. Okay. And the
How
thing
dare
is,
you not love it?
well, the thing is, if you have the opposite opinion, right? Let's say you have like we do, we're not allowed to voice it, right? Matter of fact, today's show, because we were talking about Megan Fox Kid, I might well get another community strike off of it, right? Because how dare I, right?
Probably, yeah.
But I don't really give a shit. I'm just saying that we can't speak our mind at all. We're not allowed to have an opinion. But old John here, look, it's not even available in my area. Isn't that great? Thanks, John. Anyway, you guys have any opinion on this stupid shit?
No, look. For one, fuck John Campea. He's an
Yes.
insufferable cocksucking
Yes.
shell. Um, one of the many people who would benefit greatly from a good slap with somebody who has a razor blade in between their fingers.
Ooh,
Um,
we're going wrestling again, are we?
oh yeah. Hey, look. If what would
Get him some
what would
color.
Abdullah the Butcher do?
Well,
Give him some color.
that's what I ask myself every day. What would Abdullah do? I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Stab that bitch with a fork. That's
No,
what Abdullah would
that's
do.
what I'll do. And then twist it
Yep.
both ways.
Twist it like it's fucking pasta. Get in there good and deep. That's not blood,
R.I.P.
it's
Sheik, by
marinara.
the way. R.I.P. Sheik.
Rest in peace, Shiki.
Yeah.
He,
Anyway,
we're now gonna have the army of angels coming down to put sinners in the camel clutch and making the sinners humble.
Infidels indeed. But the thing with this is, this movie's going to fail before it even starts
Yeah,
because no one wants this crap.
because
And when,
also another thing is all of these live action remakes of these anime for whatever gets lost in translation never carries the charm of the original animated thing. Leave it the fuck alone. Nobody, as I pointed out before, I think the only time a live action adaptation of an animated movie ever worked was that first 101 Dalmatians movie over 20 something years ago. And that's because you had a great actress playing Cruella DeVille that carries the movie,
she
and
did a
they've
good job. Glenn
been
Close,
doing
yeah.
yeah, and they've
Yeah.
been doing, and they've been trying to do it, recreate that ever since, and it's failed every time. Just fucking stop. Nobody's asking for this.
Yeah. But whatever.
And John Campea
Mm.
sit on a barbed wire glass dildo and spin
Oh, wow.
because nobody cares about
Oh,
you.
wow. But yeah, that's the thing that caught my eye the most, Grimlock, was the fact that you're still watching John Campea. I mean,
I didn't even know who he was.
well, the thing is, you remember way back when The Force Awakens came out. Because one of the things about that, and it's really unfortunate because the hype for that movie is the biggest I've ever seen for any movie ever. I mean, the hype for that was outrageous, and it's really a shame we didn't get a great movie because it would have become legend. But the hype, the build
Yep.
up to it was really crazy, right? And John, of course, he's with Collider, and John got an opportunity to go to the red carpet for the opening in Man's Chinese Theater, right? And oh, he was such a suck up dude. Oh my God, I was like, oh dude, what are you doing? It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him. He was such a suck up. Yeah, John Campea's a moron. Please stop listening to John Campea. What are you doing? Anyway, let's move on from this. Just more of the same nonsense. Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder why that's happening.
YouTube reverses election misinformation policy now allows users to post content questioning the results of any political race.
Do they know something we don't know?
Of course they know.
Yeah.
Know damn well. Everybody knows damn well. The only people who don't know damn well are snickering when you turn around. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's preposterous. There's
Yeah.
people out there. Well, I need to see all this evidence. You don't need to see anything, bro. You don't need to see anything. You need to know one fact. Joe Biden, in all his infinite wisdom, never even came in the finals of a presidential race up until he won with the biggest number in the history of the planet.
Yeah. Pretty impressive,
All
really.
of a sudden,
Pretty
he was just
impressive.
the most popular candidate of
Mm,
all time.
bestest ever. But I
That's
mean,
amazing.
but deeper than that, this
not
tells me that they know that the Democrats are going to lose the presidency next time.
Probably.
not to mention for all the people who say, well, what evidence do you have? They literally posted an article in Time magazine where they took a victory lap and had the nerve
Yeah.
to say how we fortified the election.
Fortified it.
Who's
Fortified.
we? Oh,
Fortified.
Strengthened it real good.
the,
Got
the
nice and strong.
the faggots who run this platform, for example, are the people who are in question, and many others who have already testified under oath that they had some incentive, wink, wink, to do so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very interesting to me because we're still a ways out, but this is telling me that they know right well that the Democrats are going to lose, and they're going to contest it, just like they did 2016. That's the funny thing about it. When Trump won, quite clearly, they protested that the entire 4 years, and then when Biden won, you're not allowed to say a word, right?
That's right.
So
That's
they know what's coming, and that's interesting, because this is showing your hand, is it not?
Well, I think here's the problem: is we don't know how deep the corruption in the election system in America goes. We simply just can't possibly know because we're not allowed to have a proper investigation. Every time
Yeah.
somebody tries to do a proper investigation, it gets all kinds of stonewall and everything else. So we don't know. We don't know if they even need to worry, Jester. That's the truth. They may be able to rig it so beautifully that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or I was saying this to my wife earlier. There's only two options. There's only two options. Either the American people were dumb enough, like I said this earlier on here, we're dumb enough to vote away the best economy we've ever had, with the most peace we've had in 100 years, or they weren't. But either way, the system learned its lesson.
Mm.
And that lesson was the American people will pretty much just shut up and do what they're told. All they have to do is put on
Yep.
some big show at a government building, and now everybody will just, well, we can't talk about, no more revolution talk or whatever, no more of that kind of talk. Can't have that because something January 6th. They
Good
know
good
they've
luck
learned
with
their
shutting
lesson.
Trump up, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus, he
They've
ain't
learned
gonna.
their lesson. I don't know. I personally think I do think they're going to let a Republican win. It might be Trump. I don't know, because I genuinely think our system's completely and utterly corrupted. It has been for a very long time. But regardless, whether it is or not, I think what's best for the country, not even like on an economic or blah blah blah, best for them is to pressure velvet, get the pressure off, get Trump in there for another 4 years. It's not going to be the end of the world, and that'll take because if you remember, while he was president, a lot of that pressure did come off. The only place the pressure was coming from was the establishment libs who just couldn't let it go. They could not handle the fact that they got beat by this guy, this horrible, evil, bigot man. They couldn't have that, so they had to make everything into literally a federal case. Even if you remember, right near the beginning of his thing, CNN ran 2 hours of story on the fact that he puts ketchup on his steak and likes 2 scoops of ice cream instead
Yes.
of 1. This was
2.
something that we needed to
Yes.
know on a national level.
Yeah.
News-wise.
Absolutely horrifying. The man's a fucking psychopath.
I know.
Yeah,
Just
very-
imagine they get a look at me. He's so nicer than me. I would be an absolute apocalypse, dude.
Oh, don't give me power. No,
Yeah.
you know what? Give me power. I want to teach you some lessons, people.
Yeah.
I want you to. You're gonna learn today.
Mhm.
Shit,
Yeah.
they fuck around and I get power. I'm coming out there in a full Doctor Doom armor, cape and all.
Yes. Yeah, that's
You
why
will
that's why
kneel.
it'll never happen, Grimlock. But anyway, interesting and telling. I think this. We don't need to know what the article says. Just the headline itself. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's move along here. Oh, this one is just a joy, pure joy.
Oh Lord.
What do we got? What do we got? Why is my thing not working? Across the Spider-Verse, directors reveal sequel story is a quote commentary on the fans that don't see Miles as Spider-Man.
No
Listen, I'm gonna tell you a
shit.
little secret. That's 95% of
Yes.
them.
Yes.
And by the way, those particular fans are not fans because they don't like Miles at all. So they're not fans of Miles at all. They're fans of Peter Parker. Miles is not Spider-Man. I don't care how many movies
No.
they make. I don't care how many comics they make. I don't care how many things they make, how many T-shirts they sell. I don't care. He's not Spider-Man.
No.
Peter Parker is still very much alive, so he can't be Spider-Man.
Mhm. Yeah, no, he's not. And this movie, some people saying it's pretty well done. Good for them on that. I ain't watching it because it's
Yeah.
a woke piece of crap. I ain't watching it. And keep in mind, during the movie, they do everything they can, again, like they did in the first movie, to tear down and make Peter look like a horrible, useless, worthless wimp. Right? The whole damn movie. And it's all about their agenda. I don't need me discount Peter Parker. I don't need it. Right? And it's a shame because, I think Thundarro's right. They could have done something cool with this character. He could have been
Yeah.
the Prowler. I think that would have been interesting. But no, he's not Spider-Man. He'll never be Spider-Man. I don't care how many gays you throw in. I don't care how many transgenders you got and how often you make Peter look like an idiot. He's not Spider-Man.
Correct.
He ain't. Fuck off.
The
And
best part about Miles in these movies and in the video game is the only way they can make him palatable as a character is to basically just make him Peter. He's
exactly,
basically just
he's
Peter.
just
That's
Peter.
the only way they can do it.
Well, no, his origin story is Peter. He acts like Peter. Because-
It's the only way. It's the only way it works. Because otherwise, he's insufferable and boring, or both, which is an amazing feat. And nobody is. It's just not. It's not there. It's not real. Like,
well,
okay,
no,
they'll say, but some of his stuff makes some money, and some of his books sell. Okay, fine,
fine.
but none of it touches Spider-Man at its peak. None of
So,
it. Not even
so
close.
what you're telling me is this is the most successful replacement they've had. Right?
Yes.
And it's the one they're most desperate about. Because I guarantee you, those freaking assholes over at Marvel, when they got in charge, the thing they were gunning for most was Peter Parker, because he's the face of Marvel. Always has been, right?
Yep.
And we got to get rid of this white man. We got to get rid of this white man. And they've done everything they can. We see they've turned everyone gay, they've race swapped or gender swapped everything. We've seen what they've done. This is no different. Exactly. A lot of people say, "Oh, Peter, Miles is pretty cool." I don't care. He is a
No,
Peter
he's not.
Parkman replacement. I don't give a shit whether you like it or not. It's not
Yeah.
Spider-Man. You can go to hell. I mean, plain and
Make him
simple.
Prowler.
You could have done
Such a
something
good
neat with
idea.
him, but I don't care. And this movie, even though it might be well written and might be interesting, good for them finally, because we get a lot of shit from them. But the simple fact of the matter is, this thing is ultra woke. And people saying, "Well, it's got a little bit." No, it's got a lot. It's super woke. They literally race swapped Jessica Drew and still kept her pregnant, even though they were mocked relentlessly for that stupidity they put in the comic book. These assholes thought, "Oh, that's a great idea," but you know what's even better? Let's make her black. And you know what? I bet you she's a black lesbian that's pregnant. I bet. I bet.
But that ain't racist. That wasn't racist at all.
But these
You know,
absolute cucks.
Was there any degree
of
of
all-
that
of all-
story that was meant to be a
I mean, look at this shit. These guys are so proud. Oh, yeah, we got it. We put it to them. Yeah. No, let's go ahead and listen to it. I shut the volume off. Let me not
story
do
that was meant to be a sort of...
Here we go.
Was there any degree of that story that was meant to be a sort of commentary on the fans who don't see Miles as a real Spider-Man?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of like canon and the
rules
and
who
rules,
gets to be.
And Spider-Man, like, is it definitely is like a character that is owned by the audience.
No, it's not. Matter of fact, it's owned by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Both dead.
Again, just because you call a pig diamond doesn't make it diamond.
Oh, did you make a pearls before swine metaphor?
Good.
There's hope.
It's look. The problem is that there's two major problems. One, I don't know when this became a thing in the comic industry. It's like they took the SpongeBob joke literal of everything being a mantle. That's one of it, because one of the arguments I constantly hear is, "Oh, Miles may not have been the first, but he's the best to ever pick up the mantle." First of all, it's not a mantle.
No,
Um,
it's a
to imply
character.
and to
Yeah.
imply that it's a man to imply that Spider-Man is a mantle is to basically say his origin doesn't matter. That's why I hate there are characters that are fucking mantles. They are established as such.
Yeah.
Black Panther
Doctor
is a
Fate,
mantle.
Green
Black
Lantern.
Panther,
Green
Doctor Fate,
Lantern.
the
Yeah.
Green Lantern, Nova Corps,
Yeah.
Corpse. Those kind of characters. Like I said, Ant-Man. Those are fucking established mantles because they established that, hey, all you need is this, and you can be that. That is a mantle.
Yeah.
You can't be Doctor Strange, but you can be the Sorcerer Supreme because it is a mantle given.
hmm
You don't have to be Stephen Strange to get it.
Well,
You can to be Peter Parker, you need to be Spider-Man, you need to be Peter Parker. You need that origin for that to happen. Otherwise, it is not Peter Parker. It is just a copy. An imitation, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's not
desperate
that.
attempt would be the word. Yeah. Are we
And
mantling Luke Cage? Anybody?
no,
Anybody? Misty
no,
Knight. Is that a mantle? Can we get
no.
can we get a Thai girl doing it? I want a Thai girl doing it. It's
Yeah,
bullshit. Yeah.
it's absolute bullshit. Especially when you start bringing in non-white characters and go, oh well, their race is essential to their core. No, the fuck it ain't. Being
Why?
born black is every bit as a coincidence as being born white.
Well, here's something shocking. I know it's going to be shocking to anyone listening. Being black does not make you special.
No,
How dare
un,
I,
un,
Thundero?
unless you're implying that all births are due to genetic engineering and somebody doing the engineering said, you know what, fuck this guy, let's make his kids black.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then okay, you can throw the oppression card in because like, damn, this guy, they literally just have to get you from birth. But
Wow. The thing is,
but
I bet you someone's made that claim though.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's somebody out there
God hates the blacks. Oh no.
but no, Miles is not a fucking man. Miles is a lazy character who was made to serve one purpose, and people don't believe it. We have this thing called an archive. You can go look up what fucking Joe Quesada and Brian Michael Bendis said. He was born for one purpose: to be Black Spider-Man. It wasn't about making a new character that just so
Nope.
happens to have this happen to him. No, his whole purpose was to be that. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If Miles Morales had stayed in the Ultimate Universe, a lot of the distaste for Miles would not exist. But the
Yeah, it's
fact of the
true.
matter is, Marvel literally created an event where the sole purpose was to bring Miles into the 616
Oh yeah.
as part of their Marvel Now, where they replaced all their establishment franchise heroes with less than versions. Sorry for those. Sorry for the 5 fans who actually think Amadeus Cho as the Hulk was actually good, but
Wow.
no, he
Wow.
wasn't. It
No
was
one
a
thought
less
that.
than
No
choice.
one thought that. And
It,
Alan has the genius idea of the day. Luke Cage starring Nick Cage. hmm 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 hmm
it
That would
it'd
be
be
full
wild,
circle, bitch. That would be great. Because
but
he calls
no.
himself Cage because of Luke Cage, just so you know.
But the thing is, Miles is not a good character. Everything, as Eric July called him, Peter Darker, because everything he is Peter Parker, just black.
Yep.
And at that point, if that's all he is, then why should I give a shit about this
Right.
character?
And you're right.
And
In an Elseworld setting, that's fine. You can do Elseworld stuff. It's
yeah,
fine. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not as against multiverses as some other people, but but the thing with multiverses is keep it there. I don't need that shit just because. Hey, look, and some people might like that multiverse take better. To each their own. But to do what they have done with Miles and with all of those characters, it wasn't just him.
Mhm.
To be fair, it wasn't just him. They literally, I don't know if you remember this, Chester, when they put out this comic line called Marvel Generations, where the whole purpose of that fucking comic line was to say all the replacement heroes was better than the originals,
Yes, I know.
and if it's
Yeah.
and if you don't like them after this, it's because you're racist.
Yep. No, I
Well,
know. They've
yes,
replaced everything. They've changed everything, and it's all intentional.
yeah,
Just like you saw the glee in those guys' eyes as they say, "Got him, got him."
yeah.
Yeah, we put
Well,
it to these
got who?
people who don't accept Miles. We got him. We
Yeah,
made a movie, and we
here's
got you. All right.
the sad thing. Miles has only been good in two instances, in the Spider-Verse movies and in the PS4 game. Everywhere else, he's been dog shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I hadn't
Everywhere.
played it. But the thing with it all, it shows you what they're thinking from day one. Not only everything we've already said, and you guys know anyway, but the fact that they're constantly
Yeah,
trying to hook him up with Gwen. It shows you right there that he's Peter. They're trying
yeah.
to make Gwen and Peter a thing, which they've done many times. Because some reason the modern people seem to think Gwen was a better choice than you got lucky, Tiger, with Mary Jane. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but they,
Oh yeah.
they, they hate Mary Jane. Look what they've done to Mary Jane. They're so
Well,
desperate to
yeah.
get Gwen Stacy pulled in. It's like, why do you hate on
Well,
Mary Jane so much?
yeah. But people also see, because most people, especially on social media, who act like if it didn't happen in the Twitter age, it didn't happen. Breaking up Peter and Mary Jane permanently fractured the Spider-Man
Oh, it
fan
did.
base.
It
He's
did.
only been he's only been selling at half the rate he used to pre
Yeah,
2006.
people were
Go
not
look it up
happy.
if you go. You
Yeah.
can go look up the numbers if you think I'm lying. Back in
Yeah.
the day when I was a kid and when Chester was still here, even a shitty issue of Spider-Man was doing six figures
Easy.
easily.
Easily.
Now
Yeah.
you have Amazing Spider-Man and it's shipping about 40,000 and people are acting like that's
That
good.
would be
No, it's
canceled.
not.
Instantly
Yeah.
canceled. And the thing, continue on with the Mary Jane thing. Look what they did. They literally hoard her out.
Yep.
They made sure, no, 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 Peter, you don't get to have a baby with Mary Jane. We're gonna have some other dude create three.
Well, it's more of that.
Random.
It's more of that. Oh, this character that you like was never that good in the first place. See what a piece of shit that character is. It's like, oh, Mary Jane was never great in the first place. See what a see what a horrible whore she is.
Yes, I know. I know. It's so disgusting, dude. We're upset, Thundero. Okay,
Yes, they're here.
we're alone. But anyway, um, not surprised. Of course, they did that. Obviously, they've been doing it the whole time. It's like we're going to get you, and these are why these movies fail because they're all these
Yep.
movies are trying to get you. Like, oh, you don't agree with us? We're going to make our movie specifically to get you. We're going to get you, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's like, okay, fine, and that's why no one's buying Marvel comic books anymore. That's why it's on the floor. Now, this movie might do well with the youngins because they have no clue what they're looking at, and that's the intention.
Well, it does well enough because it's family friendly enough to where people will take their kids. That's that's the truth of it. It's the art style. I'm be honest. I know a lot of people speak glowingly about that art style. I don't personally care for it. It looks like a mashup of three or four different art styles, to where to me it's rather off-putting to watch for long periods of time. Uh, So for them, yeah, it's going to do well financially. It's going to do well enough. It's done well enough financially to where these idiots think that they can do a live action Miles Morales movie.
Oh, they will. They've been. That's the whole point.
Oh, they're already talking
They've been
about it. They're
pushing
already.
the whole time. That's their point. They want that. I know. And Alan, I'm well aware they did that. Mayday Parker is in the movie. I know. But that's not Spider-Man though. That's dumb, dopey, stupid failure Peter. That's not Spider-Man, you see, right? So both these characters they hate, Mary Jane and Peter, have been thrown to the side. They've been mocked, made fun of. I mean, shit, he brings his little baby into ridiculously dangerous situations. What more could you comment of how horrible Peter Parker is of a comment could you make? I mean, come on. But anyway, I'm going to get mad, so I'm moving away from it. I'm moving away. But here's the thing. I wanted to end up the show today just kind of looking at all the new games that are popping because of course it's time for that, right? And there are a lot, dude. So
Yep.
many indie games, so much stuff. And It's just that I don't like a lot of that type of game, so I'm not very interested. Not that you wouldn't be. But
Yeah.
I don't care for platformers. I don't care for FPS. I just don't care for that kind of stuff. But some people do. Although that Cuphead game that came out caught my attention.
Oh yeah,
So,
Cuphead is great. If you've not played that, the combination of the old school rubber hose animation and the music, I think you'll enjoy. And it is a fairly difficult game.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you will not beat that on one unless you really have some skill and time on your hand. I don't think you're going to beat that in a single with one life. But I enjoy it. Actually got to go back and finish it.
Yeah, no, a lot of
And
people like side scrollers, platformers. I get it. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I just don't. Yeah, Alan, it is a gorgeous movie. That is true. But anyway, let's take a look here, Grimlock. April's Diary, No Clue, Battle Talent. If you see something you want me to click on, tell me. Driftwood, yeah. I mean, once again, we had Tony Hawk, Skater, and Paperboy and stuff like that. Why have you taken those games and instead of upgrading the art, you've downgraded to this polygon crap? Why are you doing that? Budget Cost Ultimate. These are just old Japanese games that they're just releasing to make money. So, good on them. But these are little
yeah.
pixel retro games. Keep that in mind. All these Etrian Odyssey stuff. Um, Eye for Eye.
Well,
No
there's
clue.
there's still a market for the pixel retro uh, JRPGs, because a lot of the JRPGs have changed so dramatically in the way that they basically function, to where they don't even function like that anymore. So a lot of people would be like, "Yeah, I would rather play those." And for a good portion of the audience, some of these games, even though they're being remastered, this is the first time they've been seen in the States. So
Yeah.
while
No, that's true.
over in Japan it's like, "Oh, this shit's 30 years old," it's like, well, it's new to us.
No, it is, and people are happy with it, and that's cool if that's your thing.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky's getting some kind of update. Fine. No More Rainbows, no clue. See, Tetris still doing Tetris. A lot of this old Japanese stuff being brought forward. Street Fighter 6, of course, we know is hit, and people seem to like it, but it's not without its controversy. I don't
Super
know.
Mega Baseball. That is, for those who played Baseball Stars back in the day by SNK.
Mhm.
That is as close as you're gonna get to Baseball Stars. Is that franchise right there?
Yeah, it's a bit cartoony looking, but people like that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's cartoony, but it has the way you can tinker with your rosters and everything, co-ed, whatever, co-op. It's a lot like Baseball Stars if you played that back in the day. And strangely enough, EA bought the developers of that franchise, and I was kind of worried because EA's reputation.
Right.
But at least for this upcoming game, they actually did something really cool, and I guess having EA money allowed them to do it. Is they got a lot of licenses to use old baseball legends and put them in the game.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So like
Yeah.
you got David Ortiz and Keith Hernandez, guys like that, like from the old school eras. So if you know, gives you something different.
Well, there you go.
We
We got ourselves a little trailer. We got screenshots here, some information. So yeah, that's neat.
we love, yeah.
Big Poppy Ortiz. Yeah. Boy, isn't he the one to get himself in trouble all the time because he's way too much of a partier?
No, that was some of his teammates.
There was some guy named Ortiz though. He's in the major leagues, but he was actually from like Cuba, not Cuba, Mexico or some Latin country. He was always good. I actually thought he was cool. He was always getting in trouble for he just way too much. It's like Maradona, right? Out of control, out of control. Oh, that's nice. That's perfect baseball bat, sir. But alrighty then. So let's see here. Let's continue on. Harvest Moon, Kirby, the most powerful video game character ever created. Kirby's, it's sick. Diablo 4, people seem to like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It seems to so far come out to
Mhm.
a fairly warm reception, and
It's fun
in,
gameplay. Yeah.
in
Um,
spite of Blizzard's continual fuckery.
yeah, I know,
Um,
right? Right. It's crazy. Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom, Shadow over Morrowind. I don't know about that, but I know that they have an update with a new character class coming out, and because I do play Elder Scrolls, and it looks fun. Nocturnal, don't know. Raiden 3. Hmm. Harmony, The Fall of Reverie. That looks just wonderful. MotoGP, people talking about that. No,
I'm
nothing.
gonna be honest. That's a lot. There's a lot of beer like I've never seen before.
That's what I
So
mean. Is
that's
a lot, and the problem is almost all of it is like this retro, low polygon pixel stuff. It's huge, huge number of it is that, and I'm not interested at all, dude. And that's me. You guys might love it, but I'm not interested. But look at all of it, dude. There's so much.
I grown to appreciate the retro look because at the beginning of the last generation, everybody was going on and on about the graphics and everything, and then it just got to a point, especially on those early PS4 games, where you're just spending $60 to buy this awesome cutscene, this awesome game full of cutscenes that may have like 3 to 4 hours of actual gameplay. So it's like, yeah, eh,
Yeah, I don't like that very
yeah,
much. Yeah.
give me. I rather have the 16-bit look where I can get 20 hours of gameplay over, the real pretty 4 hours of gameplay, 10 hours of fucking cutscenes
Mhm.
any day of the week.
Yeah. New Final Fantasy. A
Yep.
Railway Empire 2 looks good, coming out on my birthday. I've already seen some of
Right.
the they've released it to some of the YouTubers, so I've actually seen it. It looks pretty good. If you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I might check that. Actually, I might check that one out because that's on
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
So
Yeah. Oh no, you're
yeah,
right. Yeah, right there. But no, I saw it running with Raptor was playing it, and yeah, it looks pretty good. That's the kind of game I like. So, Nimbus
yeah.
Infinity. Destroy All Humans 2. All right. Uh, is that kind of like a We Are Billions thing?
Um,
Like a bullet hell type of
Destroy
game?
all. Not
Oh no,
re-
no, no.
well, it.
That's an XCOM-y thing, and it's like a
Yeah,
cutesy alien attack. You're right. Yeah.
yeah. It's a remake. That series has been out a long time. The remakes are doing well, so it's almost like,
Some are.
hey,
Yeah.
guys, maybe you should make an all new one instead of just remaking the first two.
A wrestling game. These haven't been fresh in a decade. Enclave. I think I saw something on that. Looked kind of interesting. Wow, so many, dude. Look at all of it.
Crime
Cricket.
Boss, I did like.
That's what I need.
Crime Boss, I liked. I'm interested in that one.
Oh yeah, no, I did see a thing on that. LX2. The first one was okay.
Hmm.
Let's see, the card games. A lot of these games are things that could easily be played on like a Steam Deck or on a mobile and stuff. So it's a little. They're kind of mixing here. Sengoku Dynasty. I saw people on that, and yeah, and this is certainly not all of them. But
There's June right
yeah,
there.
it's just June here, so let's go into July. Um, once again, if you see something in the Valiant, yeah, I saw that. Exoprimal, I think I didn't like that. The look of that. It's just so many. It's hard to keep an eye because I was watching these shows, just video after video after video, and it's like, yeah, no, 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 no. The Immortals of Avium, they're really pushing that. I saw several takes on that. They had one from the Future Games show or whatever it was, and they had two voice
Yeah.
actors. And oh, could you possibly be more lame? And I'm wondering, with the video game presenter, is it the intention that they be lame? Is that like somehow part of the culture?
Um,
Because they
I
had
would
a
hope
Osmo
not, but it
dancing
seems
one.
that It seems to happen a lot.
It does. I mean, they had Osmodee hosting a thing, and it looks like he's part of a new company that's coming out to produce games, Mad Mushroom. But yeah, I mean, they're just so lame. Although I have to say, the one that Osmodee did, I can't remember the name of it, but they really were sniping at each other a lot. They did not like each other, and it was like, is this what you consider fun? Because it didn't look fun. But this right here, Sea of Thieves, of course, people are really enjoying that. Hogwarts Legacy has been a mammoth hit. Remnant 2, of course. The Expanse, I didn't even know it's a Telltale series with The Expanse. That's interesting. It's like a like a book or something. Let's see what August has got. On Guard, I didn't see what company it was, but it really felt like Ubisoft to me. I don't think it is though. But On Guard, but it's I don't know about you, but I don't like games that I can't make my own character. I don't like to play games where I have to play the character you made, right? I don't know why. I've never cared for it.
It depends on the game.
Yeah. But this one, you're playing a female fencer, and she's the bestest ever. So Atlas Fallen, Book of Hours. This is very, very. How should I say? Modern man bun liberal. Can I say that? Let's see here.
Yep.
Madden hasn't been cool since 2002. Let's see here. That's just a moneymaker, by the way. It's just money grabs. Sea of Stars, Baldur's Gate 3 has been out for a while, but I guess the official release is coming in August. Let's see, Paper Man. Okay, Starfield. I'm assuming they're going to get they had their own presentation yesterday. Did you see?
Actually, no, I didn't see that.
Okay. I think I saw a Rift Sweepers, and it was like, eh. Mortal Kombat 1. Now, basically, what they've done is they've taken the hero from Mortal Kombat. He became a god at the end of the last game, and therefore he's
Yep.
created his own world so they can restart and do whatever they want. Is what they've done. I saw it. The only thing but I didn't like it though, because every character looked Asian, right? And of course the Asian characters, that's fine, but the non-Asian characters looked Asian in the face as well. And you see that problem over here a lot. The Asians have a hard time drawing non-Asian faces. And I get it, but Mortal Kombat's never had that problem, but this time it does. And for some reason, the extreme fatalities seem out of place. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan, dude. Liza P looks good, but it's another femboy character. But it did look pretty though. Cyberpunk, some kind of expansion. Yeah. Blasphemous builds us to Greece. Ooh. Hmm. Looks like September's going to be a big month. Lots of stuff. Now the thing is, there's a lot of games I'm not interested in at all, but maybe you would be.
Yeah.
Right? Or someone else would be. So they're mainly they're indie stuff. So there's a lot of games coming. Maybe it'll make everybody happy. Who knows? The AAA stuff doesn't look very good, but the indie, there's so many indie stuff.
No, there hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of AAA shit that
No,
I'm interested in. A RoboCop, I'm gonna take a look at when that
that
comes
looked
out.
good. It did look good. Here's the Alan Wake thing, which is stupid. It's just ridiculous. It's ECG crap, right? Assassin's Creed Mirage. I have no clue. I haven't cared about that game forever. Gangs of Sherwood. That looked interesting to me. I think I want to play that game. You see that one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. City Skylines 2. Yes, baby. Thank you. Yes. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Spider-Man. Did you like the first Spider-Man, huh?
No, I didn't play it because I refused to play as Miles Morales.
No, I don't
that
want
is a
to. I
deal
don't want to play
breaker.
it either. Yeah, so I didn't play it either. It does look good though. But City Skylines, I'm all on board for that. because they've done, Colossal Order have done a great job with City Skylines over the years. Um, and it fell off hard. Indie is thriving. Yeah, it is devilish. It's true. It's true. Here's November. Duke Nukem Collection. All righty.
Yeah,
Like a
I'll get that.
Dragon. Yeah. I saw this Like a Dragon, and it's basically looks like a Yakuza game. Biomutant it had a
Oh yeah,
real hard time.
like a dragon is like their spin off or whatever. The trailer that I did see that trailer today from the Xbox showcase. It was pretty. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those things. My son likes it though, so I'm sure he'll enjoy it. I'm sure he'll
Yeah,
play it. Biomutant looked great. It just wasn't really completed, so hopefully they clean that up. But then again, that looks like a Game Pass thing, so maybe it's just the same game. Persona 5, my daughter is a big fan of that. So yeah, but there's more coming. But of course, the thing that's interesting with it is that we are getting. There are a lot of things you guys can go watch right now to get an idea of what's coming out. There are many, many, because everyone's trying to find a way to fill the hole of E3, right?
yeah,
And you're seeing all these companies come up with their own little video game shows. I don't know which one will
yeah.
end
Because
up. Yeah,
Nintendo had already been doing that for years, and
Treehouse, yeah.
E3 had been on the decline for years, and people was kind of in denial about that. So you know, again, COVID happens, and it makes it it
Official.
makes it to where it's like the final nails in the coffin. Because also, it's kind of hard to justify, especially within the economic times we are going someplace, especially where it's supposed to be this big showcase of video games, and it became increasingly, oh, okay, we have these cool trailers and these concepts and whatever, but no actual gameplay. And it's like, well, who the fuck wants to fly all the
Yeah,
way to LA for
yeah,
that? You could stay at home and do that. And a
yeah.
lot of
No.
people did.
And
So,
it's unfortunate though because E3 had a certain charm. But of course you're right. I'm just wondering which one is going to end up being the one because right now they're all really lame. They're really lame. But
I,
Age of Empires
I,
4 looks great by the way.
oh yeah, that I need to get back into, because
Hmm.
that was me and my dad's shit back in the day.
Oh
My
yeah, that
dad
was a fun
introduced
game.
me to that.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Agent 64, Spies Never Die. You know what they did with this game, dude? They basically created GoldenEye. Remember that really famous 007 game?
yep.
But they didn't update it at all. Matter of fact, they made sure to make it look exactly like it did back in the day. And I'm like, really? Really?
People like that. People, there's an audience for it, Chester. There's a bigger audience than you may realize.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's
if you gave me an updated, crisp, beautiful looking GoldenEye, I'd be like, hey, baby, all right. But no, it's
Yeah,
identical to the old shooter. Everything is all polygonal, and it's really they even I don't know if you play GoldenEye, but one of the problems with GoldenEye
yeah,
is to actually aim proper, you had to stop your character completely, right? And you couldn't do it on the fly. But it looks like they even
yep.
put that in. They even put that thing that everyone complained about in, right? Whatever.
A lot of people, I'm kind of in that segment nowadays. If you just give me a game that can run at a smooth 60 frames per second minimum, I'm not too hung up over whether it's polygonal or not. Because, like I said, there's been way too many games that look gorgeous, but you're spending most of your time watching fucking cutscenes. Like Detroit Become Human, shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
No, I understand that. I don't need that. I just want a cleaner looking game. Blood Bowl
Yep.
3. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there are tons and tons of stuff. So if you guys got something you're interested in, you can definitely go find it. And there's a lot of, like I said, shows that are kind of showcasing everything. And I still have to go watch the Microsoft one. Ubisoft's coming, although I have no faith for the Ubisoft one whatsoever, because Ubisoft has lost the plot years and years and years ago. So what are you gonna do? They really
The
have.
only Ubisoft game that I have played in the last 5 years has strangely been the Mario and Rabbids crossover game.
All right, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was way more fun than I expected it to be, and plays pretty well. It was fun.
yeah. No, Blue Protocol is developing, but it looks good, devilish. We'll see who comes from that. Well, the problem with Ubisoft, it's not really a problem. It didn't used to be a problem. The owner there, the old gray-haired guy, he is a gay dude, right? And
Yeah.
of course, who cares, right? But for many years now, he really is pushing that side of it, and it's like, why, dude? You've been making games for everyone forever. Why, why does it matter? But he seems to have changed his focus, which is unfortunate, right? Because he made plenty of great movies for games for everyone before, but now all of a sudden he's just shifting. He's just really shifting. You go watch the Ubisoft this year; it will be the most rainbow bright thing you've ever seen in your life. I guarantee it.
But the thing is, they've had such diminishing returns
They
on
have
that because it's like, who the hell has really been talking about Ubisoft over the last few years? Like, I
because
can't
they're putting
think
out
of like
crap.
any.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like I would be happy. Well, I know you're not into platformers. I would be happy if they brought back the fucking Rain Man series because they hasn't
yeah.
had one in at least 10 years.
Didn't they at
Um,
least have one claw involved with Beyond Good and Evil 2? Weren't they
I
somewhat
don't know.
attached to that? And that thing's dead in the water, right?
I yeah. A lot of these games that they've announced, either they end up in some sort of production hell or DOA. So it's weird. I mean, like you said, it'd be nice if like there was a fuck ton of AAA games, and it's kind of weird that it's this year. It's kind of like Street Fighter and MK is leading the way, like it's the early '90s all over again. But um, you got all these companies that are committed to their agendas, and apparently they haven't lost enough money to where they're interested in turning it around.
Well,
So,
because they have all that BlackRock money. Yeah. They got sugar
yep.
daddies. That's why they can do it.
Well,
Well,
hey,
anyway,
must
uh,
must be nice.
must
That's
be
all I can say.
nice.
Must be nice.
Well, of
I would
course.
love I would love to be in a position where I can blow 60 fucking $1 million and still have a job.
All right, and they do it all the time. But
Yep.
anyway, of course, we'll be back next week to talk about more of the nonsense. Who knows what'll happen in a week? We seem to get lots of headlines. Anything to not talk about the actual inflation and other nonsense that's going on in the world. But nevertheless, of course, in 2 days, I will have continuation of Heroes Call. We're puffing running that, and that's a good old classic fantasy. So come and check that out if you're interested. But other than that, anything you want to say to close out here today, Grimlock?
Oh no, I just picked up the Super Mario Brothers movie on Blu-ray today. I'm
Hmm.
gonna check that out either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
We're in June already.
yeah, no, we are in June already, and it's a fun little kids movie. Mario,
Yeah,
as it should be, kind of a standard, like Spider-Man, last Spider-Man movie we got. It's very much a good
yeah,
little kids movie, and that's nothing wrong with that. Well, matter of fact, we could probably use with some more. But
yeah.
nevertheless, thank you all very much, and we'll check you out next time. Later, everybody.